In a new book, President Biden is quoted as saying the key to his long marriage is the good sex, and what many people are calling a really gross image.
California resident Brad Thompson has said, look, it's one thing if Biden wants us to believe there's no inflation or his memory is good, but asking me to believe that he's just laying the smackdown on Jill in the bedroom is a bridge too far even for me.
Biden's press secretary has released a statement backing him up, saying Mr. Biden lays pipe just as good today as he did when he was 25, and that is actually Donald Trump who can't f***. The First Lady is constantly walking funny around the White House, and if you think President Biden isn't drilling her properly, then you ain't black.
Members of the media are coming forward now saying they have seen evidence firsthand in the Lex Steele dossier of Mr. Biden just absolutely going to town on the First Lady, and can personally attest to her having multiple O's every time he revs up the jackhammer, which he allegedly refers to as his Keystone XL pipe.
The boys.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The lads.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST.
The bros.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The homies.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Experience the BOYSCAST.
The BOYSCAST.
Boys. We are here at the BOYSCAST, where Danny has vowed to light himself on fire to protest the $19 Big Mac.
The $19, yeah, there's a lot of things I'm going to be protesting. If this is effective, this lighting on fire stuff, if this ends the war, every time my chick's like, let's go do something, I go, I'll just grab a fucking gas lighter and go, I don't think so. We're not doing shit, all right?
I'll tell you what's going to be happening. You know those $1 Big Mac days when they do that once a year? Well, that's going to be happening every time. Or, option two, that's sort of your Gaza Strip.
Yeah. The funny thing is where the studio is near.
Gay porn's blocked at this Ramada Inn, is it?
I just carry one of these just full of gasoline everywhere I go.
I'm lighting myself on fire to protest Vice magazine going under.
Yeah, that's real shame. We should go over to their offices.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about the lighting on fire? I know it's up your alley.
I mean, it's a big debate right now. Is everybody's
Can you joke about it?
No. Everybody's like, is he mentally ill? Everybody's because all these people are like, he's not mentally ill. He's a hero.
A lot of people were sort of on board with that idea.
People got really mad because MSNBC ran a thing on it, and then at the end of it, they go, if you're suicidal, call the suicide hotline. And then the people were like, what the fuck, MSNBC? And they did it with like an Israel flag in the background on their like big giant thing or whatever. And then they're like, people are like, what? He wasn't suicidal? He's a hero.
Right.
Why would you tell people to go if they're trying to be heroes? Like, would you tell the firefighters on 9/11 when they're going to rescue people, go, hey, if you're thinking about going to rescue people on 9/11, maybe consider calling the suicide hotline?
Well, there is a lot of people that sort of made a name for themselves by being that. Like, think about those famous photos. Like the one guy who lit himself on fire.
What was his name?
I've seen his photo, I'll tell you that much. Monkey John.
Monkey John.
You're telling me you don't see that guy everywhere, man? That guy.
I do, but you said he
photo.
made a name for himself and then could not name him.
Well, he made an image for himself, that's for sure. Certainly. I don't really remember what he was protesting either, but
fire
something.
Monk. I will tell you that I was looking into doing some sort of monk-related sketch, and then I was like, fuck, I gotta get a bald cap and shave my beard, and I go, nah.
Well, also, yeah, you'd probably need a lot of gasoline.
I need like a truck.
You just get your one leg.
I gotta call like Cushing, Oklahoma, being like, how much can you send me?
Yeah, I didn't really have too much of an opinion on that one way or another. You're kind of like, okay, that happened, I guess. I don't know if it's making a difference.
Someone lit themselves on fire. I mean, do we want to set the precedent that lighting yourself on fire is effective?
What do you mean we set the precedent by like saying he's a hero? I guess.
I mean, it's accomplishing nothing.
I mean, you could say that. Yeah, I kind of think about that as all this sort of stuff. Yeah, you might. But I mean, I don't know about like society has an obligation to like make this guy not be a hero. I don't think you say what you think. I think.
He's
right?
just a guy who lit himself on fire. Who was a kind of a communist who happened to be like in the U.S. Air Force.
Yeah, and he's
kind of like a commie.
I feel like he could have went harder on his speech because he sort of just did it. I feel like he could have, while he was doing it, he could have released like a better video or something.
He live streamed it.
But he didn't really say, I didn't see him, his speech wasn't that hot.
He just was, I'm not going to be complicit in the genocide. There's actually a thing came out, I don't know if this is verified or not, but he was like he would evaluate U.S. intelligence on, and he was saying
that he had some hot stuff that he's not going to show. You should have. Why didn't he release it then?
Well, no, he was saying that.
So that's what I'm sort of getting at.
That part of the reason that he did this was because he saw proof that there were actual U.S. soldiers in Gaza killing Hamas.
Why didn't he say that in his speech, his exit interview?
His exit interview? That's a good question. I mean, that would be a massive... Like, if that turned out to be true, that would be a huge scandal. Because America, if you ask America, they're like, we don't have troops on the ground in Gaza. Like, we don't have one person there. So this would be this whole, like, dark... Black Ops department thing.
I think the Black Ops are everywhere, dude.
Yeah, but this would be a massive scandal because Biden's out there saying, hey.
I mean, the CIA probably a lot of times they just pay the other armies, you know what I mean?
Or mercenaries.
Yeah, exactly. But they go, technically, this guy's not. Yes, saying, the United States government, the CIA hired him and we're paying him, but technically he's not a member of the United States military.
Well, what he was saying was he's saying members of the United States military are in the tunnels in Gaza killing Hamas.
Where was he saying that?
It was on, I don't know where, either on his Facebook or like to a friend, but that is one of the reports coming out.
So he was sort of posting this stuff on his Facebook, wasn't really getting as much traction as he hoped.
Guys, like a friend's post.
I think that's
honestly, if you don't want your friend to self-immolate because he can't get enough attention from the internet,
I think you need to
just help him crack the algorithm.
Because if that guy was going viral every day, he probably wouldn't be doing this.
100%. If he was just, doing one of those like sitting in his car, like like one of those like Long Island dad
views
guys,
on TikTok, sitting in his car,
just sitting in the front seat venting, and it was going viral. No need to light himself on fire.
He would definitely walk in his house, see the matches and the gasoline, and just be like, "Well, we're not going to be needing that.
Not today. No.
Not today.
No.
Live to play another day.
He'll need it to turn his car on to heat it while he's making his videos. In the wintertime.
That's what he would need it for.
It's chilly, but
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have decoupled now.
Really?
This is the beat that's been going around for a little bit. And there's a lot of
bombshell, Ryan.
Well, no, a lot of people have been saying that they've been sort of living separate lives, doing their own thing. Now it is allegedly official. Now, I'm not saying the Lion News media gets it right every time, but if you are a man out there looking for a woman that can you can shack up with her. She can sort of drain every last little bit of fame you, maybe extract you from your friends, your family, maybe you can have some projects together that she's going to be very creatively involved in that they'll all bomb.
Sure.
If you're looking for something like that, Meghan Markle is officially on the market.
Okay. I mean, this is the first I'm hearing of this.
Maybe an athlete, maybe a Saudi prince.
This is we're dropping bombshells on this podcast.
If you're looking for a woman, they can sort of, Jada Pinkett Smith style, just her presence can sort of turn you into a laughing stock when at one point you were royalty.
Sure.
That is, she can offer that. That should be in her Tinder bio, that she's like, are you tired of people not looking at you with disdain and laughter?
Mm-hmm. Are you a prince, potentially?
She's going to...
Not one of the crappy princes. We're not talking like the Prince of Sweden. No offense, Sweden.
She's going for... I think their only options is she has to go like Saudi prince, potentially Xi Jinping, maybe.
Oh, she would make like a good...
basketball player is probably what she ends up with.
The North Korea guy.
Now we're talking.
Maybe Pol Pot's kid. Maybe marry him. He's available still.
That would be... If the United States foreign policy is looking to do something, send Meghan Markle over... Get her to date the leaders of those places, have them just subtly drain them of any credibility, of any likability, and then you sort of have someone, if you wanted to turn an election, put Meghan Markle on that guy.
Yeah.
He will not be getting elected the next season. Now, again, some of these places do not have.
I was going to say, I don't know when Kim Jong-un is up for election. I believe sometime in 2180.
I'm telling you, man, if you put Meghan Markle on Saddam Hussein at the time, you wouldn't have to do that whole war. The guy would have just made himself so unpopular they would have sodomized him without him even doing anything.
Yeah.
Assad? Put Merkel on him?
Bashar,
I think she is one of the most deadly weapons that America has. She can bring down princes. She can bring down any man.
Not for Netflix, though. She's getting the views over on Netflix.
She's not getting views.
Dude, last year, I believe... I think this is like...
her things are all a bomb, my friend.
My conspiracy brain...
podcast gets less views than our podcast.
Dude, my conspiracy brain really kicked into gear on this one because all of a sudden, the show's been off the air for how many years, Suits? And then they go, that was like the #1 viewed show on Netflix last year.
Oh, I'm not denying you that Suits is doing okay and that Merkel is doing okay.
Yeah.
What I am saying is Prince Harry is in a far lower position than he was, and
big
Meghan
time.
Markle is in a far higher position than she was.
yeah, no
and
question.
Meghan Markle has the ability to do that to you or your friend. This is a one-woman wrecking squad that the United States government should be utilizing, and this is the type of thing that they need to be thinking about.
They should send her into North Korea, to be honest.
Listen, any man that you think's getting out of line, you don't need to be doing all these covert operations.
No.
Put a Merkel on her.
Put a Merkel on her.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not telling the United
Merkel
States how to run their... yeah, Merkel dirking. I'll tell you what, they will be laying in bed all day because they won't want to get out because everyone thinks they're a joke. You're going to have South Park making episodes about these people?
It's tough, man. You got to feel for Prince Harry. Everything.
I do feel for Prince Harry, but at the same time, you know, how many...
lost his mother,
how
now
many,
this.
How many warnings can a man get? Listen, if I've got a friend and he's with the worst person of all time, and I'm not even saying she's the worst person of all time, but I'm saying if you have a friend that's clearly getting dragged down,
Yeah.
and everyone, to the point where people are like, what are you doing, buddy? And he goes, well, how about I don't talk to you anymore? And then his friends and his family.
And he goes, she's just breaking. And then, yeah, you're like, we can't even say anything to because she's just breaking everybody.
I mean, if this was the other way around and there was a guy dating a girl and
it's abuse.
everyone would describe this as
Yeah,
abuse.
they go, yeah, he's abusing her.
And I'm not even hating the player, Meghan Markle. I'm hating the game of the United States foreign policy that refuses to use the one-man wrecking crew that you have at your disposal.
Sounds like you've been watching more crappy movies, Ryan. Sounds like you've been watching some sort of really shitty action movie where they got to bring in the big guns, and you're like, it could be Meghan Markle.
Listen, if the United States government she put Meghan on the payroll, get her taken down dictator. She has the ability to take down princes, man. There's nothing this woman can't do.
The ultimate honeypot.
She is the ultimate honeypot.
Ultimate honeypot. Yeah.
Now,
I like it.
Before we move on, I have to show you President Javier. What's the guy's name again? How do you
I'll
pronounce
let you
it?
try it.
No, I'd rather.
I'll
I'd like
let
to
you try it a few more times.
Javier Milei.
Yeah, have your Milei.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Vivek Ramaswamy and Javier
God
Milei.
damn, you're just throwing the fucking all the tough ones today, huh?
Vivek Ramaswamy and Javier Milei met. The two of them, you know,
Yep.
first meeting, just having a good time. Now you tell me, now there's audio listeners, so we're going to have to commentate. You tell me if you think this is a reasonable amount of time for two men to be shaking hands. I honestly couldn't believe what I was watching.
Trump handshake, though.
It is.
It's the Trump school of handshaking.
I think they're both going to the Trump school of handshaking.
Yeah, they both love Trump.
At one point, they're just holding hands for a good. They're just talking to each other, holding hands. Like
Whoever
this is what they do.
blinks- yeah.
So he's holding hands, and he goes, "Well, how you been doing?" They're just talking to each other.
Whoever blinks first loses, right?
See how you pulled away?
Yeah.
That's not what these two did, my
I
friend.
didn't go to the Trump school.
Okay. Javier goes in, grabs Vivek's hand. The two of them, you know, they're engaged in a shake. They got a little bit of shake going. They're talking to each
Elbow
other.
touch. Yeah, yeah.
So we are still shaking.
Okay.
We are about 4 seconds in. Look at this. Javier Milei is not looking to budge. Vivek is starting to feel uncomfortable. He wants out of this shake. This is not working for him. At this point, there is no movement on the shake.
They're just, oh, there we go.
There we
There's
go.
someone
So they go for, that is the forced shake. So they go for a forced
Jesus.
shake. Now they're back to standing still. They're still shaking, ladies and gentlemen.
That is-
We might be going for the longest shake in the history of mankind. And then we go for another shake. He tried to
The
pull
question
away.
is who ended it.
Vivek tried to pull away there, and Milei pulled them a little bit further. Now the shake, a laugh, and Javier did a fake laugh, and he acted like the laugh was the reason he sort of pulled out, which was
Sure.
sort of a boss move. That might be the longest handshake I've ever seen in the history of politics.
That was an insane handshake.
Do you want to know how long it was?
What are we talking about?
Well, look at the time. So they start shaking at the 1 second mark, and they stop shaking at 44-second handshake.
Ooh. That's how presidents shake, man.
You know how long
We're just
45
no- we're normal people, so we don't know how to shake hands like presidents. But you're the president of the country.
They fucking shook hands for 45 seconds.
This is how Trudeau shakes hands. It goes
He's a limp hand, Danny's doing.
limp hand for like 4 seconds.
How do you shake hands for 45 seconds? I don't even know why they were
don't-
trying to cuck each other.
Does Milei even speak English?
No.
That's like the one thing. 'cause
He
I
was
see it-
translating. He's sort of saying stuff. I didn't have the sound on there.
Yeah.
But he's sort of saying stuff. And then Vivek is sort of has someone translating, and then he's listening to the translator, and that's how
Yeah,
they're
because I was
talking.
going to say, I'm like, from what I understand, he doesn't know any English.
Two guys that don't speak English shaking hands for 45 seconds. Two can't speak to each other.
Tough.
Not wild.
You got to learn that in finishing school, I guess. That's what they teach you in politics finishing school. It's just that fucking...
I've never seen anything like that.
I wonder what the record was pre-Trump. I bet you it was nowhere near that. I bet you...
Hey.
Trump extended handshakes, doubled.
I don't think he's ever done a minute and a half handshake.
I wonder if he gets someone who's like as alpha as him, you know, like if he like him and
get
Putin,
him and Jocko?
him and Putin shaking, that thing's never ending. The lights are going out. The janitor's coming in at the end of the night, be like, "You guys still?" And they go, "Just keep going. Just clean it up."
I really
Turn
like
off the lights.
Really like what you're doing there. Oh, you got so much money. Oh, so much money.
It was very nice here.
The video the other day of Trump talking to the Saudi Arabia guy, and he's just like, "And this costs this much? Oh, that's peanuts for you guys. Look at this, such a rich man."
Yeah,
Just picking him up.
12.5 billion.
Yeah. Trump and Putin handshake probably goes on for a minute, but I don't think I've ever seen anything in this vein.
I mean, no way Trump allows neither of them.
I don't know if it was the alpha thing as much as you think it is. I think it might have been a little bit of like them not understanding, like, oh, in his culture he likes to shake, and then he goes, well, if Vivek likes to shake, then I'm not going to tell his culture not to shake.
I mean, the Trump-Putin shake ends with the bell going, and then Herb Dean comes in and just splits them up, and he goes, all right.
Good game.
Get to your corners.
All right, guys, we got a good shake. That was a good shake. Both of you get to your corners. We're going to go round 2.
Yeah. It's the only way.
So a couple other quick things is Bill Cosby's wife, despite the rumors, so this is a reverse Meghan Markle, Bill Cosby's wife has said that she's not leaving him despite the rumors. So
Real ride or die.
All you gold diggers out there who thought Cosby was going to be on the market, the cause is a tied down man and will remain a tied down man.
Yeah, and a free man.
Also, it's sort of an ultimate love story. That love does conquer all. You know what I mean? When no matter what he's going through, she's just ride or die, sticking by him.
Not like that Vince McMahon's wife.
Exactly. She's not getting divorced, getting out there. She's staying with her man the way the Lord intended when they took those vows.
Through sickness and in health, through richer and poorer.
They didn't really mention in the vows what the Cosby's
the criminality.
what poorer was going to exactly entail.
Oh, they're caked up. They're fine.
Did I tell you that I know a comic who had a cause story?
No.
I guess I won't say his name. He might have told it publicly. I'm not sure. But he basically said back in the day, they knew a girl that was on the Cosby show. And she was dating a guy. And then when she showed up the audition, Cosby said he wanted to talk to her in the room by herself. Oh. And he goes, so this has happened like 20 years ago. And he was like, this is just something that happened. We always sort of thought this about Cosby basically went in the room with her and brought her for the solo audition, and then just started grabbing her boobs in the casting room. He just goes, just grab the boobs, right? And then apparently she was kind of like, oh, what am I going to do? And then they sort of agreed she was just going to be on the movie, but she goes, it's never going to be on set with Cosby or stay away from him, because she had a role on a couple episodes. We go, I'm never going to be in a solo room with Cosby. Yeah. And then Cosby apparently got her in the room solo again and just started grabbing her. Whatever. So apparently he just comes like a straight up, like old school, like honk honk. You know what I mean? Apparently Cosby's like straight up goes for the honks, right? And crazy. And then here's the crazy part. So then apparently because of this, they decided to make like a phone call to him, and she had his personal number. So she called him, and apparently he was there, and then her boyfriend was there and some other people. So they called the cause, and they were like, listen, like what you're doing, like this has to stop. Like, you know, this is my wife or girlfriend or whatever. And like, we're illegal. And Cosby goes, you know who the fuck you... And apparently they thought they were going to have a conversation. They like weren't expecting this. And Cosby goes, do you know who the fuck you're dealing with? You'll never work in this town again. Maybe not that exactly, but paraphrasing. Like, you do not know who you are messing with right now. All of you. What's your name? I dare you to come after me. I will bury you. I'll make all this. He said apparently it was like a big speech, and they were all just like
Denzel from Training Day or something.
Apparently he went hard in the paint. So this is before any of this stuff. He said that he's been like saying this forever because he had a
sexual
specific
predator for a while.
But apparently it's like straight up like on anybody. Apparently he's just like walking around honking tits.
That's crazy. I actually heard
crazy.
I don't know if it's the same person, but I heard a story about this kid who was on the kids say the darndest things or whatever with him, and he actually said that he never said the darndest things. and that Cosby just kind of edited it,
saying that he didn't say anything darndest.
He goes, I didn't say the darndest things at all. I was actually quite smart. And
I didn't say a single
They deceptively
darndest
edited everything
to make it seem like they were more darndest.
Like I was saying the darndest things, and I wasn't. So
I don't know what
sounds like that Cosby's not a good guy.
Yeah, you know what's funny in the sort of like. Because I think it started with the Cat Williams thing, but the black community is having like a reckoning of like tell-alls, which is like, and you know what I mean? And Puff Daddy, P Diddy is like,
I'm not buying some of this
getting killed on it. Well, and you might be right, but the funny part about it is like in the kind of like the white reckoning, it was all the producers and stuff that were like trying to get girls to have sex. The black ones that take them down, it's all just like gay stuff. Like every guy is like, every sort of like black Me Too is essentially like, this guy's gay.
That's black community kryptonite.
It really is, because like if you had sort of like a girl come out and say, you know, oh, he like was pushy with me or cheated on his wife, like, oh, yeah. But the gay stuff is killing these guys, and they're saying. And so they're saying like Meek Mill's gay. So P. Diddy's producer comes out, and it was really like there was a lot of bad stuff that was happening to Diddy, and there was sort of a lot of allegations.
And this is all because of that New York law where you go the last chance law thing or whatever.
This is what started a lot of it.
There's a guy on the subway. It's so crazy. Like there's this dude on a subway, this ad all over the New York subways right now. This guy who's like a professor at Columbia, and it's his face, and was like, "Did this guy rape you?"
What? What?
He's like, there's still time to basically come after.
You got
him.
another window?
But there's like, it's just his face, and
that's a wild.
Like, did this guy sexually assault you? And they're like ads all over the New York City subway. Like, imagine you're like, I didn't do that.
Oh my god,
throwing your shit all over. But yeah, it's like whatever this last chance to get. These,
so P. Diddy, it's his cameraman, right? And he's basically. He's sort of he is pushing it, because he was sort of saying like first that like, okay, P. Diddy was throwing these parties and there was prostitutes, and then he made me have sex with the prostitute, and that was like in some of these environments where it's like, okay, you're partying with these like rappers and you're basically like living with them, filming with them, you're friends with them, and there was a prostitute and they like encourage you to bang one of them. Like none of that really seems like I guess it gets a little blurry. It probably, like in some comedy environments, you're just like, it's a little blurry of like, is this your friend or this your employee? You know what I mean? Because if this was your buddy and you're like, oh, my buddy made me have sex with a prostitute, and you're like, well, what did it make me?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, I'm not your wife, pal. Like, you did it.
What are the repercussions here?
Yeah, like I'm not your wife. Like if you did it, you did it. Like you're like, he made me. It's like, or what? He'd fire you. It's like, well, I don't know. Like you don't have to like have. Yeah. Okay, well, then I guess you can say. And then. So it gets a little. It's not that damning of like. Well,
once it's your employer, I understand that.
And then the other ones, he was like, he goes. So this guy's Little Rod Jones, which is a bad
tough name.
Little Rod.
But no, Ryan. It's rap music. It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Your big dick calls Little Rod.
Yeah, Little Rod's packing. Little Rod's a goddamn fucking.
It's like an ironic homage. Yeah. You go.
He's a tripod.
Well, that's why people always call you
Little Rod the tripod.
I've heard people call you Gigantic Rod full of shock. And I get it in that community, but they go, throughout the time living with Mr. Combs, I was a victim of constant unsolicited and unauthorized groping and touching of my anus. So. I mean, I don't know what that means, where they're just like constantly touching your butt, but like,
I mean, anus is not even like that's not like the butt cheek.
Well, how do they get into your anus? Like, what does that even mean?
Well, I guess that's the whole.
Well, but I could see a scenario in like a group of dudes where you're just like, we keep slapping that guy's ass because it's funny. I know that's not really the culture.
I mean, he is misrepresenting this if he was getting his ass slapped and he goes, they were touching my anus. Well,
they basically
anus is like a medical term.
They dismissed it as friendly horseplay.
I don't know if I'm getting
here's the question.
Finger up your pooper.
I think the question is for a male to male ass slap is, do you cup the hand? That probably is a big difference. Like if you keep the hand straight, as soon as you get like curvature on the fingers, it starts to become a little gay.
His butthole got touched. Like anus is the butthole.
This is what I'm saying though.
This isn't like, this isn't a little friendly, funny slap.
Well, I'm just seeing it seems a little weird that this guy's like, oh, I'm on tour with P. Diddy and he keeps like coming and fingering my butthole. Like that just seems unlikely.
And difficult. I mean, if you don't want it to happen.
But he's sort of saying
like is P. Diddy like, hey, Something. Can you plug that thing over in the corner there? And
Yeah, you have to-
like.
you
Can
have
you
to-
just like? There's just like a thing.
Did he go up the shorts?
You're like, you're like literally on all fours, like trying to fix this thing. In the
Well, yeah, what's
corner.
the scenario where this guy's just constantly like touching your butt? But, and then he was kind of saying like, oh, they had me watch, well, he had all these sex workers. And then he goes, that big actor, what's his name, who was in Hustle and Flow, I think he said him was
Terrence.
gay. Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
Or maybe the other guy that I always confuse with Terrence Howard. He said one of those guys are gay. Then he says Meek Mill. He's just like, all these guys that you're just like, it seems kind of unlikely that Meek Mill's going over to P. Diddy's house and just like banging dudes in front of all these like random people.
You would think so, yeah. There is, I guess, there's this photo of Meek Mill dressed the same as P. Diddy with like, I don't know, I keep seeing that. But
They're wearing matching outfits?
They're wearing matching outfits.
Well, what do you think? You said that you see.
I mean, I'll say where there's smoke.
I'd like to see
where
some
there's
evidence.
smoke, there's fire. Certainly, he must have done something fucked up because there's.
Oh,
just
I'm not saying
too many things.
Okay,
coming
all
out.
this stuff with girls seems like maybe,
Yeah.
but
But
this,
they've been saying he's gay for a while.
and I'm not even saying that maybe P. Diddy's not gay. It just seems, maybe P. Diddy, but it's like
They're trying to make him like an Epstein.
it just seems crazy that there was like a slew of like other famous actors coming over and like sucking dick, man. Maybe honestly,
probably
I don't
why Mace
know.
disappeared,
Listen,
'cause Mace
I'm
went with the
tapped
Lord.
into a lot of musicians. I'm tapped into Hollywood to some degree. I've never heard anyone that I know that's a guy personally have a story where they're just like fucking P. Diddy tried to like bang me.
Yeah.
I've never heard any of these first things. I'm not saying it's like completely out of the question.
I mean, he
but-
got off on a gun. He did get off on a gun charge that he for sure did.
well, yeah.
He's
Well, I'm sort of picturing in my own head what's the scenario like. So what he brings
like an
over-
Epstein. Like it's you're putting him into this like kind of weird sexual.
Well, it's a different
Hollywood
sort
cabal
of thing, though, because I get if anything that happens with girls, you're kind of like, well, I don't know, like what's this two sides of the story? What's the evidence? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the guys, I'm sort of like, I'm trying to picture it, and you're just like, you know, what's that thing where it's like, what's the most obvious explanation?
Yeah.
What's
the
that?
Occam's razor.
Occam's razor. Like Occam's razor on this one isn't that like every rapper is going over and just having these like
Gay orgies.
gay orgies.
That's a tough one too, because if you think that the guys
And they're not even picking guys that seem gay.
big risk reward on that too for if you're these guys too, because if you're saying that P. Diddy like did gay stuff with P. Diddy, but then you like lose the lawsuit, well then you're just like this.
It's
you're
also-
like, well then you're gay.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't get it paid out.
It also seems like there's so many of them. Like they say it about Eminem and Dr. Dre are gay. They say these guys are gay. It's like there's so many rappers. You're just like, what are the even odds that like 90% of rappers are all fucking
I
gay?
think that's just the ultimate shit talk to a rapper is calling them.
That's
gay.
what I think. Yeah.
That's
And I think that also if you're trying to get a guy to settle on a case,
yep.
okay, what's the most one he wouldn't want to go public with? Like if you were just like, oh, this girl's accusing you of something, the guy's like, well, I'll fight that tooth and nail and I'll fucking bankrupt you because you're wrong about this and I'll prove my name. Where the guy's like, okay, I have all this footage, I'm gonna say that you're gay, and the guy's like, okay, how much do you
Yeah,
like some of
make
these
it.
might be more like
And he's dealing with a lot of serious shit. Like he's got a lot on his plate right now.
so much on his
He
plate.
has 20 of these.
I know.
Yeah, so maybe that guy just hoped he's going to get one in and maybe just get a little.
But a
I
lot
don't
of
know
the
what
other
proof
ones, I
he
could
has.
picture the scenario. Like I could picture a scenario where he has all these prostitutes over and he's like telling people to fuck the prostitutes and all this
Sure.
shit. I mean, that doesn't seem like far fetched.
No.
But it does seem far fetched that like P. Diddy and Meek Mill sneak into the other room and they're like banging, like open the door and they're like, close that door. And there's fuck.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like something Diddy would do. That sounds like something Will Smith would do.
I'm telling you, every black actor or rapper is getting fucking crushed on
Sounds
the
like they might be wearing the dress because they want to.
He's also suing the tequila brand because the tequila brand sponsored the party, and he was like, "Well, you should have known that all this shit wasn't going on."
This is starting to seem like a frivolous lawsuit.
That's what I'm sort of saying, man.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Diddy's not up to nothing, but this guy's suit.
I don't have a lot of criticisms of America, like some people do. I don't have a lot, but the criminal the justice system in terms of the lawsuits in this country is ridiculous.
Let me posit you something. He came in and he saw those two naked, but they didn't also see that there was a girl that they were running a train on, which is like a big activity probably with that communities.
Yeah.
The guy's like, oh, I just saw the two of them in naked. And you're like, well, no, the girl was...
And they weren't wearing their Timbs, so he goes, well, if they're not wearing their Timbs, then they must be having sex with themselves. Doesn't make sense.
Hey,
otherwise.
listen.
Doesn't make sense otherwise.
Okay, I will say, I know you mentioned beforehand you wanted me to tee you up because you had a real bone to pick with this article that was portraying people that steal as two girls.
Oh, with the FBI thing?
You said, you walked in here today?
Okay.
You go, let me fucking have it.
Let me just pull this up here. No, so the FBI, their Twitter account, which I think they might be a bunch of tricksters and jokesters over at the FBI, because this is kind of funny. So they posted 2 days ago. They go, higher prices, dangerous products, and closing businesses. These are just some of the impacts organized retail theft has on everyday Americans. Learn what the FBI does to combat these crimes on the federal level to protect shoppers across the country. FBI.gov. And they show 2 photos of young women. What'd you drop? Anyways, they show 2 photos of these young white women, which is just hilarious. Because yes, I'll be the first to concede. The biggest
white
thieves,
women steal.
like when I was in high school and in college, every girl I knew stole.
They do,
some of them
be stealing.
They be stealing. Okay,
Yeah.
They didn't. Some of them did it.
Teenage girls be stealing,
and they did it for
regardless
fun.
of
They do it
race.
for fun sometimes. Like it's
The
not
thrill.
even the thrill. It's not even for they need the thing. Sometimes they just like to steal. Like it wasn't like they.
It's a high for them.
It's a high for them. They didn't even need to steal. They just like to. But they're talking about.
I remember girls be stealing when I was in high school.
I remember I had these friends in college at Guelph, these 2 girls, and they were like, yeah, we go to the mall, and they're always like, yeah, I stole 2 pairs of jeans. Like, love stealing.
Me and Jarek were dating these 2 girls once, and I remember they went to get gas and then fucking tried to run away and then like get in the car because the one was her car.
Yeah.
And then she pumped the gas and then took off, and then the car was trying to come after us. They were trying to escape the car, and it was just like, what are you ladies doing?
For what? Yeah. This isn't even shoplifting. You're like stealing gas.
$30 of gas.
Like,
It was just always something with these ladies.
No. Chicks love to shoplift, okay? But anyways, it's just funny because this is the photo, and it's the one photo that they get the least in trouble for, even though they're getting ratioed like to hell.
I get your point, yeah.
But the funny
I
thing
didn't know if you had to do all the photoshops where you kept doing all the real people that steal.
But the funny thing
this is what he actually looks
if
like.
you click on the link, that the FBI.gov gives you, right? They go, here are 3 examples of organized retail theft rings that we've broken up. And it was a white guy, a Chinese guy, and a black guy. And then they're just like, here's 2 white chicks in their 20s.
Okay,
like,
so it didn't even relate to the article. No, obviously I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's just funny. Yeah, and then I will one thing though that I'd like to I don't know what other people, because I keep seeing like these videos. I saw this video of some guy stopping it was like a Home Depot, and some guy was trying to steal all the shit from a Home Depot.
Okay.
And then some guy went and like basically he's like, get the fuck out of here, and like beat this random dude up who was trying to steal from a Home Depot. You see a lot of those now. And then people
Vigilante store owners?
they're not the store owners. They're just like
Vigilante guys?
just guys where you have nothing to gain. And in the thing, he's like, this is the reason why all this shit's so expensive. I'm like, look, this might be my
I got
opinion.
you. That's his point.
Yeah, he goes, this is why everything. They are not, Home Depot, if theft goes to 0 tomorrow, are not passing on the savings to the customer. I hope you don't think that Home Depot is going to be like, thanks for everybody for not stealing. Let's lower the prices of everything.
They might take stuff out of the locked cabinets, and they might not raise them again so much. But.
Maybe they'll won't put stuff under lock and key, but they're not lowering. They're not passing those savings on. Like for you to go defend, it's one thing to be like, this is like a mom and pop. You're defending Home Depot,
getting involved,
like a fucking $80 billion company. You're like defending them because you think that the reason your shit's so expensive is because of theft, and maybe it is. But they're not passing those savings on to you should theft be reduced.
Well, maybe it won't keep getting worse in their opinion.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, you're saying you wouldn't do that.
I would not do that, no.
Would you go block the storekeeper off? Help him out?
If it was like a shopkeeper? The problem is where? Like in New York City? No, you're going to get killed probably.
What was the publication that posted the picture of the 2 white girls as the face of theft?
FBI.
It was the FBI.
It was the FBI.
It was their personal.
It was their Twitter.
Their
page.
newsletter.
It was their Twitter. The FBI Twitter page.
Did you see that one? Fellas, Prizepicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch the winnings roll in. Prizepicks is very simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prizepicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app.
And for this week, I'm keeping it on the ice. Just like I did last week. Keeping it on the ice, sticking to hockey. This week, my picks are and this is tonight, Wednesday, February 28th, we have Connor McDavid, more than 3.5 shots on goal. Igor Shesterkin over the New York Rangers, more than 28 saves. Mika Zibanejad, less than 0.5 assists. And Stuart Skinner of the Edmonton Oilers, less than 24.5 goalie saves, pays 10-1. Let's go.
Prizepicks offers weekly promotions and can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. So go to prizepicks.com/boyscast and use the code boyscast for the first deposit match up to $100. That is prizepicks.com/boyscast and use the code boyscast for a first deposit match up to $100. That is Prizepicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Fellas, we got a new sponsor to tell you about called XBar. Now, you might not always have the time to go to the gym. You might be a busy guy, but you always have 10 minutes. And especially, you know, there's a lot of times when I'm at my house, I don't have time to do all that stuff, and the XBar could be the solution for you. We all know that exercise can take hours a day, but what if you can get better results in the gym with just 10 minutes a day? Because everyone's got 10 minutes.
Yes, I do.
And our new sponsor, XBar, is an exercise bar that uses heavy resistance bands instead of weights. We're going to cut to footage right now of Danny rocking it.
Rocking the X-Bar.
Now, the X-Bar is cool. They guarantee you better results in 10 minutes, or they'll just buy you a full gym membership. That is what they're doing. What's the secret? X-Bar uses variable resistance, so you only need to do 1 set per exercise versus 3 to 4 sets. So your X-Bar comes with 5 to 480 pounds of muscle building resistance. It's a full gym that you can take anywhere. Safer
cool.
for... Yeah, it's very cool. Safer for your joints. Lifetime warranty. And our listeners are going to save 15% plus XBar's $199 12-week fitness program for free with the coupon BOYS. So you just go to xbar.com or click the link in this show's description, xbar.com, with the coupon code BOYS. The New York Times, so this guy who worked at the New York Times, he stopped working there, and he kind of did an article being like, that was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
That was a wacky
time.
It was a wacky time in my life. And he goes, I was a heretic at the New York Times. And there's just one part of it that's really funny, because he goes, I did what I was hired to do, and I was paid for it. So he said the first day they asked him for his favorite sandwich, because they do these like
these team building, team building where you try to just introduce yourself, and you say, "Hey,
They sit around
Danny.
in a circle, and he goes,
I like Burger King."
Russ and Daughter's Super Heapster came to mind, but I figured mentioning the $19 sandwich wasn't a great way to win friends. So I blurted out the spicy chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A, and I considered the ice broken. The HR representative leading the orientation chided me. We don't do that here. They hate gay people. And then people started snapping their fingers in acclamation.
That's so crazy that they do that.
I hadn't been thinking about the fact that Chick-fil-A was transgressive in liberal circles for its chairman's opposition to gay marriage. Not the politics, the chicken, I quickly said, but it was too late. I sat down, ashamed.
Tough first day at the New York Times, huh? You go, oh, that's one of those things where you're so embarrassed.
Snapping.
You just recreate, like it just runs on replay in your head. You go, oh, you cringe every time. You're like, I can't believe I said Chick-fil-A.
But it's interesting. That's the environment that's going on.
Of course.
Like,
I mean,
Chick-fil-A, and everyone's just like, oh my fucking, like, who is this, savage that we've hired?
And it's funny because this chick, Ida Bay Wells, who's like this popular journalist or whatever, and I think she works in the New York Times. She's like, I worked in the New York Times, it never happened. And then this other guy who's like prominent was like, yeah, I was there, that happened. It happened.
Well, they probably went through everything too. It was like, what's your favorite show? And he's like, The Office. They're like, oh my god, sorry, the Chappelle Show. Oh my god, what drink do you like? I like Starbucks. Oh my fucking god! I just shoot yourself.
Yeah, you go. I drink water. I just water from the tap.
Is
that acceptable?
Something else though.
I mean, that's what you're dealing with the New York Times. I mean, look, the no love lost for them because they're kind of doing it to themselves. Like Rolling Stone did a similar. Rolling Stone's kind of been going down the Vice road.
Yeah.
They're getting so crazy where you think you go, hey,
what kind of stuff are they doing?
Like just all the same stuff that Vice did, where it's just so wacky.
And it's even wackier now.
Yeah, they did a thing on Shane where they called War Mode Holocaust deniers.
I saw that.
Or whatever, like that stuff, and you're like, I know those guys. They're not Holocaust deniers. They're just asking questions. And woo! I mean, that's like the joke on the show. But but no, they're doing crazy stuff, and you go like, you've seen this blueprint of how Vice ran itself into the ground, and they're like following it.
Agreed.
Instead of trying to course correct in some way, they're like, no, we're going to follow it.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's talk about the comedy thing a little bit because there's been a lot of stuff that happened. But we'll say before we start, come to see me on tour this weekend in Dallas and then Calgary. I'm going to be filming a taping that weekend, so come out to that. Baltimore, Washington, Boston, Winnipeg, Atlanta, San Diego, Houston, Austin, New Zealand, which is the least tickets I've ever sold in my life on an announcement, and Australia, which is selling great. So come to that. RyanLongComedy.com. New Zealand.
Cox in New Zealand.
not going great in New Zealand, but
they love that chick Jacinda Ardern so much that she probably said, "Don't go to Ryan's show.
Losers
just take a vaccine instead."
But Australia, the dogs are coming out.
Yeah, we love you,
and Danny's going to be in Dallas.
And I'm going to be Phoenix this weekend, House of Comedy, Saratoga Springs, Fairfield, Connecticut, Hamilton, Ontario, just booked in April, Dallas, Morris Plains, Minneapolis, Edmonton, Vancouver.
Actually, you know what? Before I wanted to talk about the quick comedy thing, there was a good article.
Also, shout out to, I would just like to give a shout out. Somebody heard that on this podcast, that I had lost my domain, DannyJokes.com, which it turns out I didn't lose. I actually had it on some weird company that I bought it on that I forgot. And I don't know what happened. But anyways, so I do own it. And the reason I realized it, because someone who watches this show was trying to buy it back
from you.
For me.
Yeah,
from whoever was.
From you.
But then I got this email from GoDaddy being like, "Hey, someone would like to buy this domain. What will you sell it for?" And I was like, "What?"
It's a loopy move.
I go, "What the hell?" And then I started digging into it, and then I go, "Oh, I own it still." So, anyways, thank you to whoever that was.
Well, Danny, you
still
actually
not buying gay.you.
So yeah, Shane did SNL and he crushed it. And you went to the after party. It was those after parties started at 4:30.
It literally started at 3:15.
No, it was pretty late. I was fucking. I've been at it that day, man.
Yeah. No, it was 3. We walked by there at 2:15, thinking we'll just wait for it to start. And they're like, "No, come back in an hour."
It goes late.
Yeah. I left there at 6, and there was 400 people there, whatever.
But what you were talking about is those places that write these insane comedy articles. Like NPR wrote the article saying that Shane he was like, oh, they go, he bombed. And it was just if you actually look at the thing, they basically, it was kind of like, I a lot of times will do stand up where you kind of act like, you act like maybe something didn't do as good or whatever.
Sure.
And in his case, he was sort of saying, he goes, "You didn't think that's funny? I think that's funny." But the people did laugh.
Yeah.
And that's his style.
Yeah, exactly.
And they kept mentioning those sort of things. And it was listen, I could maybe take that from a normal person, but for a comedy critic to not understand that is his style. It's being Woody Allen did his performance and he was really nervous the whole time. He seemed like he was so
very
nervous.
neurotic and nervous.
That's literally what they said. It's like watching a basketball game and being a commentator from basketball and seeing a guy do a pump fake and you're like, oh, he went up to shoot it and realized that it was a really bad time to shoot, so then he took it. It was just you don't understand what that is.
They probably, in their mind, they go, "We're going to do this watch-along party at the NPR office," and then everybody's sitting there in silence. They go, "Bombing."
Yeah,
he's bombing at the NPR office.
Oh, yeah.
As you guys are watching it, because you guys aren't laughing.
Yeah, but it was just someone not understanding.
Because your reign of terror is coming to an end.
Yeah. How do you not understand? It's you just watch something and have no idea what's happening even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't get it.
Yeah, it's literally watching.
Thankfully, we don't need them to anymore.
Yes,
we don't need them to get it. We can see with our own eyes.
You don't need them to tell you what happened.
Realize.
And it's pretty funny that there was the Seattle Comedy Club that basically canceled Kurt and I think Lewis,
Dave, and Jim
Florentine's show. But Kurt's been going. He's been posting all about it because the reason it's so funny is because it's in the Chaz district of Seattle. There's this comedy club, and then now Chaz, all the comics were saying it's funny though. Florentine went on one of the Fox shows and he said one of the reasons is because a lot of the comics there think the East Coast comedians are too rough around the edges.
I was wondering why he got he's not I don't know what got Florentine.
East Coast comedians are just too rad.
Yeah, and you're like, the fucking Kurt Metzger has a, what is he? Has an Emmy for a feminist comedy show.
He does, yes.
You think that would be a big hit?
But
over in the Chaz and the Chop?
But basically they wrote this whole thing just being like, you know, we need to stay in line with the community, which is like, you know, these comics that are just like very niche comics in this one area of Chaz.
It's like like the trans person at the coffee shop next door at the Coffee Collective.
Is gonna hire your bookings, but
is just not happy about it.
Pretty funny though.
Lewis, shout out to Lewis J. Gomez for taking the high road, because he actually straight up was like, I don't even want to. Well, he's like, I'll just whatever. Like, I don't even want to talk about this. But then it just got blown.
I think he was saying all his fans were just like going hard, like messaging the venue.
Oh my god, of course.
Messaging.
They're probably sending fucking bomb threats. They're like swatting the venue. Knowing the Legion of Skanks fans.
Well, yeah, so I guess his sort of thing was like, whatever, this like crappy comedy club says no, which is true. You're just like, sure, be that comedy club. I'll go to the other one and bring the money that I'm about to make.
It is weird though that Seattle, I guess Seattle's just, that's the ethos, because the only real like good club is not even in Seattle, right? It's like Tacoma, right? Like Seattle, as big of a city as
it's not that far,
It's not that far, but it's just like, it just doesn't have.
Tacoma Comedy Club's great.
Yeah. So.
But there's also, you know, the Danger Cats, the West Coast boys.
Yeah.
They basically, these guys were doing they did like a roast 2 years ago.
Yeah, this is fucking nuts.
And they did like a roast joke
this
where he
is like
mentions
when you in Canada,
the mass graves.
Okay, so yeah, they did one roast, so like one roast battle. One of the jokes was one of the girls, I guess, was like native. Who was getting battled by one of these dudes, and then they made one joke referencing mass graves that have yet to be discovered. Right, because that was a big thing at the time. Was they go, there's these mass graves, and then they were flying the flags at half mast in Canada. Like, it was a big deal in Canada.
Churches got burned down.
Churches got burned down. Like, it was a big deal. They have yet to recover a single piece of physical evidence that confirms that there were any of these mass graves.
Well, I think one thing that people are realizing though, when you're in Canada, the natives make the trans people look like fucking
they're
edgy
the new
comics. You do not want them on your ass, man. Those guys, when they're on your ass,
and there's a lot of them. And in fairness, they have been treated like fucking shit for a long time. Like, they have real grievances, but for them to be like, they just said this.
Well, it's like, there's a few people, I guess, right? But they get taken seriously. So anyways, they got their shows canceled, and
everywhere.
then they got their like entire tour basically canceled.
It's getting canceled it's the, which sucks, but it's essentially the heckler's veto, where you just complain so much that you basically make a venue go, hey, like, we're getting threats that this might be unsafe. Like, something bad might happen, so we have to, like, a lot of the venues are like, we don't want to cancel this, but they're threatening us. Like, not even threatening us economically. They're like, it could be potentially dangerous, and then you go, the same thing that happened to me with the show in Toronto, the Free Speech, where we go like, so you can either drop $5,000 on security, if that's what you'd like to do, which obviously is not economical, or they go, sorry, we just have to cancel it. Like, and then you have to do the stuff where, like the compound do, where you go, hey, we'll let you know the venue like an hour before it starts.
Yeah.
The show starts at 7. We'll let you know the venue at 6.
But it is kind of funny though that like in Seattle and parts of Canada and Seattle, these like little places where it still kind of feels like 2015, and then kind of like in sort of the more broader culture, it's kind of like sort of like wilder East Coast comedians are like the biggest in the world right now. It's like the two things happening. It's almost like it's just sort of like two timelines happening simultaneously. You know what I mean?
Canada's always been behind.
Canada's always going to be behind.
It's always going to be behind, even though there's no real reason it should be, but it just is.
It's always going to be like living like 6 years behind what things are. You're like, well, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. And eventually, they'll poke their heads up and they'll go, oh, looks safe down there to try some edgy jokes, eh? Oh, looks like we're okay. Like the fucking groundhog peeking his head out.
Exactly.
Looks like there's going to be 8 more years of edgy jokes, eh?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's great that Shane got the show too, though, on top of it, like the Netflix show. I've very much felt that we've been in like this comedy dark ages, like where we'll look back on it like 50 years from now and be like, there was like this just weird like decade where like nothing good got made. like commercially, like nothing commercially of like really particularly great. Like maybe the odd things
that
like
anyone's going to remember.
the Tim Robinson stuff or whatever. But like for the most part, like if you graphed it out, it would literally look like this, and then
culturally significant mainstream
nothing.
things.
Like a decade just gone.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Gone, like wiped out.
I think I was hearing, like, you know, Eric Weinstein, he was sort of talking about the idea that he was sort of talking about this in the context of like schools and just like how schools are just like got blasted by this stuff. And I think they haven't really been able to recover it all, because the thing is, the really thing that changes stuff is when everyone in an industry or area, when everyone just changes their business models to not include that anymore.
Yeah.
So you essentially like, you keep moving without the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened. Everyone sort of changed that. And then also there's another part of it where it's like people that are like somewhat in entertainment, whether that be like broadcasters or commentators, are a little like braver, because bravery sort of takes like, repetition in some ways, you know what I mean? So you're a little like,
Unless you light yourself on fire.
You can go out in one big boom.
Yeah, we need like what do we need? Yeah, we need like Peter Jennings or someone.
But like standing up to people, like standing up to a guy, or like just in general, like not being afraid, kind of takes like repetition to some degree. Like even think about like being on stage, like just sort of like takes like, the more you do it, the less you're like afraid. The more people yell at you, the less you kind of care.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that that's happened in like some of those smaller places. Like their business model's still like 100% tied into like, if you want the work in this thing, you got to get the grants, and these are the two places you get them.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? So none of that sort of changed. So he's sort of pitching it as like, it seems like it was as kind of crazy as it ever was, which is maybe true.
It might be in that stuff, yeah. I mean, that is such a, you know, like the academia stuff, and however, you know, the people who are running schools and all that stuff, and pretty much like a, you know, homogenous belief system, like to turn that ship around, that's like a giant...
Well, I think you have to turn the monetary part around first,
I guess.
Like if you're the top scientist and you're like, yo, the only way for you to work is to work at one of these places and get their money. And then if there was no, you know, because some of these guys are trying to do some bullshit abstract problems. It's like, I guess the other thing is you essentially become like a public person, and then you make your money from that, and then you go do research. But I think for a lot of, you know, then you're doing speeches and stuff like that. But or write a book that becomes profitable, and then you don't need them anymore. But I think that moved a lot slower, where it's like a lot of those people are probably like the top guys at Harvard, and you never figured out a way to sort of like incentivize yourself to go elsewhere.
Yeah, you're like institutionalized, like literally.
You're institutionalized.
You're literally institutionalized, but it's quite comfortable. Like it's not uncomfortable. You just have to kind of play the game, and you know, have to. But it is. I'm sure it's a very comfortable existence to be like in the upper echelons of administrators at Harvard.
Exactly.
You know, you're like I work at Harvard. Like it's prestigious.
So on the topic of the science community and scientists and such, right? Which, by the way, I saw, what's the guy's, Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah.
I saw a clip of him when he was on Compound back in the day.
What?
Yeah, and I was just like, well, that's crazy.
You did
Yeah, it was like an interview with him and Anthony Cumia. And
well, I guess like, Anthony Cumia did have a before the unpleasant.
Yeah, it was just interesting to like see or whatever.
Yeah.
But the newsscientist.com, they ran out of stuff to normalize. Is it time for a more subtle view on the ultimate taboo, cannibalism? Listen, is
this the same?
Before you get on your high horse.
Is this the same guy who wanted to fuck the animals too?
I hope so.
Is this that same guy, Peter Singer?
Everyone's like, let's see, who is this by? Yeah, everyone's like, you got to stop talking about. This is by. Oh, this one, they don't put a name on these.
Nobody wants to be named. Yeah.
Unnamed author.
Cannibal Collective.
Cannibal Collector's unnamed author. Didn't want his name attached to this bad boy.
All right. Fair enough.
So it could be Peter Singer. It's like, you told me you told me what not to talk about. You didn't tell me what I should talk about.
Yeah, he's like, look, we eat dogs.
Ethically, cannibalism poses fewer issues than you might imagine. If a body can be bequeathed with medical consent to science, why can't it be left to feed the hungry? So, really good news, homeless people.
Your worst nightmares have come true. I mean, I think we figured out food. I think the reason why we don't is because that's the absolute... like, if if like people were starving, maybe that would be an option.
I think that there's some homeless people, and you go, listen, you don't have to beg anymore. This whole, standing outside with your coin, standing outside with your cup looking for money.
Yeah.
Really good news.
Yeah.
Do you remember your friend?
Yeah. Good news and bad news. Remember your buddy Ray? He's not with us anymore. The good news is he's delicious.
The good news is
we had Mario Batali prepare him 4 different ways.
He makes an incredible casserole. That's such a crazy solution. So they have a couple different angles. The first angle is they're kind of like, there's a lot of people hungry out there. And imagine you go
we figured out better solutions.
So if they go to the food bank, you go, listen, these food banks, you know how much it costs to get when we have a morgue full of what I would describe as food.
Food, yeah. Yeah, technically.
So that's one of the first reasons. I think obviously one of the things is that it's not good for you to eat humans, I don't think.
I don't know. I do wonder if it is bad, like, because they say like organ meats are the best ones. Like, is it good to eat a human heart? Like,
I'm not eating any organ meat, but you probably have some fucking organ meat.
Is that the most nutrient dense shit, is to eat a human heart?
Perhaps it is down to the fact that it is culturally ingrained with roots in early modern colonialism. So that's going to be real bad if you get called a colonialist because you don't want to eat a fucking guy. When racist stereotypes of the cannibal were concocted to justify subjugation. So I don't know if okay. That's not a bad way. I think you could probably convince a certain subsector of college chick girls that like the reason they're not eating their buddies.
Well, they're grandmas and stuff.
And you're not eating fresh meat. You're eating probably old people.
Well, I think that's a good point too, because you don't want to eat old people.
I don't want to eat old people.
That's not good meat. That's just not.
You can take that quote to the bank, my friend.
That's objectively just not good meat from the olds.
Perhaps it's down to the fact it is culturally ingrained with roots into early modern colonialism. Like it or not, then cannibalism is an important part of our history. Understanding its deep roots might shift our perspective on the few cultures that still practice cannibalism today. This is the ultimate of, that's their culture.
Is this a part of our culture?
Well, do you have to do that with like Jeffrey Dahmer? Who's like the famous people that ate people?
Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Hannibal. Yeah, you have to be like,
is that part of, what culture is that part of? Like in our culture.
They're saying like some tribes in the forest.
Yeah, like in the Amazon or some shit.
They're kind of saying like they do it and there's nothing wrong with that.
what was that movie in the 90s?
I mean, the guy
Alive?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
They referenced that as like pretty sick.
Yeah, like they had to. It was, they kind of.
Well, they're sort of saying they didn't have to. They had like, they were just kind of going back and forth.
Yeah. They would have been fine surviving on berries and snow, but they chose to eat their friends.
The guy who wrote this is a cannibal for sure. There's no question about that. At least he's thought about it. This is something he's interested in doing.
Hey, I mean, to each their own, I suppose.
Oh, it's the same as the guy who's it's on the topic of like you're writing an article about like, you write 40 articles about age of consent being fucking problematic.
Yeah.
You write 40 articles about how you should fuck your cousin, or you write articles about why you should be a cannibal. It's like you have a genre that seems
you have interests as a person. Do you think there's any like funeral home where they ever like there's just one deranged funeral home somewhere where they just take a taste?
I do think so. That's
like
I would say not that they take a taste. I would say there's one deranged funeral guy that has like a link where he's selling it to the other guy.
Yeah. Oh, like he's the plug.
Well, I think he sells it and he goes, you can fuck it or eat it. I don't care. It's whether you're.
You're not. He's not like selling sausage. It's not like already.
I think they have more an arrangement where they go, listen, I'm gonna leave you alone with the body.
Oh, like a Kill Bill.
I'm gonna come back in 50 minutes, and whatever happens, happens.
And there's just a bite out of the leg. How the fuck am I supposed to bury this guy? It's open casket.
Agori, a Hindu aesthetic sect in India, also did it to reach transcendence.
They don't eat cows. What are you talking about? They eat people?
They eat some fat women.
It's like they don't even eat cattle. They're all like mostly vegetarians, aren't they?
I don't think you can.
With just an allowance for human meat?
I would really hate that if the apocalypse came and I had to fucking eat people, man. Obviously, if I was with you, I'd be good for a while, but I still hate that.
Ryan says he'd be good for a while, like he wouldn't be the first guy getting eaten. Ryan goes, yeah, so who we eating first?
Well, Danny just sees me like a hot dog.
We're all just like on our fucking bibs. Yeah, look at you like a hot dog. Yeah, that would be If apocalypse happens, I'm just killing myself.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay, so then, and I will have no choice.
Yeah, but you don't know how to cook.
I know,
What would
but
you
I
do
will
with the
just
meat?
I'll just probably put it in the fire.
Oh, that'd be okay. Actually, I think that'd be okay.
So they're pushing this. They're saying you can transcend your body, and a lot of people, we have said that there might be some people that have evil spirits in their house. We've obviously talked about that.
Sure. A lot of evil spirits.
Okay, ready for this lady?
Yeah.
Are you getting attacked by incubus and succubus spirits in the night?
That's you.
They're demonic spirits that come to defile you in the night. How do you get rid of them? Break agreement with them.
It's pretty
Put
simple
up a hedge
stuff.
of protection around your bedroom. Get out your anointing oil and anoint your bed and say, in the name of Jesus, I command there will be no demonic visitation, no unclean, foul, evil spirits, and I bind every incubus and succubus demon from attacking me, my spouse, in the night.
So what would you do if
Does
you
she
were...
sell the anointing oil?
She's got, yeah, she's...
Like you buy her
you can
anointing.
buy the anointing oil from her.
She goes, I might know somewhere.
She's one of the places that you can get the anointing oil.
I mean, my oil is the best anointing oil, but
What would you do though if you just heard that in the other room? If you you went home with the girl and then she just went into the other room for a second, she goes, "Demons and succubus, I command you!" Comes out of the bathroom. She goes, "All right, how you doing?"
Yes,
Spraying
yes.
oil everywhere.
I go, all right, this might be a one-time deal.
So
I wouldn't leave. I'll tell you that much. I've been with crazier.
it'd be funny if you were just doing that to the girl. You're with the girl. She goes, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, I'm just getting rid of the evil spirits and the succubus that are in my house."
She goes, why are you spraying it on me? You know, I've heard that they possess women.
Yeah, and she goes, and then you look at her, you go, still here, huh? You put it in the girl in the morning. Succubuses, please
Succubi.
exit my house this instant.
Be gone with ye! You're like, fucking,
Jesus, I command.
it's not a bad idea.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I command that this woman exit the realms of my, what do they call it? Home? My
Abode?
Abode.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
So the Tumblr CEO had probably one of the best fights. He's having like kind of a breakdown.
I can't believe people still use Tumblr.
They don't really use Tumblr that much, so it's only for wacky shit.
Yeah, it's wacky.
Tumblr sort of was like could have been one of the big sites, and
Yeah.
it sort of just like never happened. And I think
The porn?
well, the porn is sort of the only thing that was keeping them afloat. Like
Yeah,
that's where you could go to get one-legged porn, and they sort of like have this weird thing where they probably kind of pretend it's art, right?
Yeah.
But the CEO basically kicked off this trans woman, right? And then the trans woman kind of, and he was saying it was multiple violations, all this sort of
Someone
stuff.
basically just said I wanted to kill him or wanted him dead.
Then the trans woman went onto Twitter afterwards and was like, "I hope you die a slow death," some version of that, right?
Yeah.
And then he basically was kind of saying like, "Hey, you weren't kicked off because of that." And this is what he posted. "When will you be honest with your followers that the repeated adult content violations were not pictures like this?" Because the trans person posted a photo being like, "This is what I was kicked off for." And basically they had all these burner accounts. And then he said, "But you were actually kicked off for your other accounts. And these are the actual names: Irish Pig Cock Girl, Burger Foot Job, Furryvore Burps." What do you think the burps is?
I don't want to know.
So this is what's going on Tumblr right
This
now.
is the kind of sexual content that's happening on Tumblr.
Furryvore burp. So I guess they just dress up like a furry and they burp.
Yeah.
Bedstrogen,
Bedstrogen.
cum burp. There's a lot of burping sites. This is what's going on Tumblr right now. Cum burp, dog girl ball sack, hung queen. But part of it, they're getting mad at him because he, like, I guess, doxed her accounts, you know?
Hey.
Because she was running Hung Queen as you couldn't, it was like anonymous.
You know what? They're so used to talking tons of shit to Elon Musk with everyone just patting them on the back, and you know they never expect that Elon Musk might like reply in this scenario.
Yeah, they're not happy about this. Well, I mean, to be honest, if obviously this is hilarious, but if you actually, the facts of the case is, if Elon Musk did say, "I kicked you off for your other accounts," and they're these 9, like that is doxing. Like, that is the question.
Yeah.
Like, is this anonymous or not? Like, can the CEO of Tumblr go in, find out all my accounts, and publicly post?
Well,
like,
they
that these
probably
are my
all
accounts?
they are probably in their back end are all linked via IP, and then like their like the IP address, and then that's how they figure it out.
I don't know. I'm not saying how they didn't figure it out. I'm saying if Elon Musk quote tweeted Danny being like, well, that's funny because his other account's Hung King 45. You would be like, well, you shouldn't be doing that.
Hey, I mean, if you
You have to do sort of take that side.
come
on a
after the
principle
Hung
level.
King, that's what happens.
Big titty cock girl. These are fucking crazy. Big. No, this is the best. Okay, so here's two back to back. Big titty cock GF.
Yeah.
It's a big titty cock girlfriend. Big cock titty GF.
Oh, really just trying to get every permutation of that available.
Girl taint. So what the account
Is this doxing though? I think he's trying to say you're using all these accounts as like a violation of our.
Yeah, but they were not attached to the person's real life identity. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. Like if Jordan Peterson had like another anonymous account, it, like like someone who works at Twitter can't be like, well, Jordan Peterson has a burner and this is what it is.
Yeah. Right.
But I do know what you mean. It does get a little
Like
murky
they're saying
because she's
this
like,
is
I
why
got
we-
kicked off, and he's like, you didn't get kicked off. You got kicked off for other things.
You got kicked off for having all these accounts and doing stuff against our terms of service.
But if he posts
but
it,
I guess
it's
he
kinda
goes, these are the,
doxing.
yeah, I guess he could say you had all these other accounts. Maybe he didn't need to post the names. He could just be like, these, you have all
So
these,
everyone knows she's girl taint right now.
yeah, all these other accounts, and that's a violation, and now everybody knows that she
Here's an interesting one. Musk mommy. Is that a Elon Musk thing?
probably.
What else could a Musk be?
I don't want to know.
Smell, right?
Oh,
So or was that must?
Musk.
I guess musk is a smell.
Yeah, I don't.
So she just like smells and she smells, but she's a girl still.
these people are sick.
Okay. Musk mommy. Girl ball sack.
Ball sack.
And
And what was he saying she was doing?
if you're wondering what's going on if you're wondering what's going on in Tumblr,
a lot of girl ball sack.
girl ball sack. Oh, we get ready for one. Shower shirts.
Ew.
Ew. This girl tried every niche in the book.
I don't.
Shower shirts.
That's. I guess these are all violations of Tumblr's terms of service.
I guess you can't do a shower shirt. What world are we living in when you can't be sharding in your shower
Hey man, I do it all
and
the
selling
time.
that for monetary value?
Yeah, I guess that's when.
Oh.
Once you sell it.
I'm
that's
sorry, I thought this was America, but I can't sell videos of me sharting in the shower?
Not very American of them.
Not very American that they're getting rid of shower shirts. Sapiosexual breeder.
Okay.
Cat girl hairball. So I guess she dresses like a cat and she has hair than she plays with, maybe? Do you want to do a little bit of an investigation into some of these?
Not really.
I was thinking maybe you're the investigation guy.
Okay.
Shower shirts, cat girl hair, cat girl condoms. So she has a condom on and she's wearing a cat girl. She's sort of, you have to.
I don't like really know how Tumblr like works, to be honest.
Here's a good one. Cat girl cum sock. Ew. So she's working pretty hard this one. Cat girl ball sack. So she has a lot of cat girl stuff. Cum spangler was the last one.
Cum spangler. That's pretty.
So
good.
anyways, he's sort of, and the trans community's like really up in arms about this guy right now because they're not
Well,
happy that he kicked her
and
off.
he owns it, and they don't like being told really what to do in general. So
That is correct.
that I understand that they don't like it, but
Many people have had a situation where you're down, life is hard, and you realize that it would help to talk to a therapist, but you're not sure how to get that started. And Talkspace makes it easy to find a therapist. It's convenient to meet online, at home, and Talkspace has made a huge difference in a lot of people's lives. So why wait? Sometimes people wait until things are too bad to see a therapist. You can get a therapist right now through Talkspace. Therapy can help you shift your perspective, find tools to cope in difficult times, and be a guiding light. With Talkspace, you can sign up online and get a personalized match with a provider that's right for you, typically within the first 48 hours. It's incredibly convenient to have virtual sessions with your licensed therapist from the comfort of your own home. There's no need to commute to appointments, miss time at work, or line up childcare in order to attend sessions. It's mental health care made easy. Talkspace is affordable and in-network with most major insurers. So as a listener of this podcast, you'll get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/boyscast. To match with your licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/boyscast to get $80 off your first month and show that you support the show. So that's Talkspace.com/boyscast. Hey, what's the best way to learn a language? Well, that would probably be living where the language is spoken every day. But for some of us, that's not an option, okay? But if that's not in the cards, you can still learn a language the second best way. And you guessed it, That is Babbel. 1 in 5 Americans have learned a language on their bucket list. And if that's you, make 2024 the year that you finally check it off the list with Babbel. And hold on.
Hey, and I mean, you know, I've spoken about this many times, but I use Babbel to learn Russian because I have a 98-year-old grandmother, and she basically only speaks Russian, and that's all she knows. And so I figure, you know, I'm trying to meet her where she's at a bit. And it's also, learning languages really does, like, create kind of new pathways in your brain, I feel like.
Yeah.
It kind of gets parts of your brain that would otherwise just be dormant, kind of humming a little bit. And the app is great. Like, I mean, you log on there, you choose how many minutes a day you want to use. It could be 5 minutes, it could be half an hour, depending on how quick you want to do it. They have these fun little games and like modules set up, and it's just super easy. That's the best part. It's really easy to use.
Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on an app when you don't really help you speak the language. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language learning experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, you get 50% off of a one-time payment for a lifetime Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/boyscast. That is 50% off at babbel.com/boyscast. That is spelt BABBEL.com/boyscast. Some rules and restrictions may apply. But on this topic, one of the craziest stories, this hardcore band, right? They're called Lorana.
This is the best.
Isn't this wild? Sure.
This is so funny.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So basically, the gist of it was the singer of the band really liked one of the other guys. I don't know if he's a singer, actually. One of the guys in the band liked one of the other guys in the band's girlfriends. And then he wanted to get him out of the picture.
Yeah.
So he started dosing him with estrogen.
Diabolical.
It's I would
That
like,
is seriously-
you should check in to see if you've been dosed with estrogen. But and this guy didn't know what was going on. He started going to he was going to the doctor because he was, you know, feeling like there's something wrong with him because estrogen has a lot of bad effects. You know, it's not free to be a soy boy.
No.
And he was putting it in his pre-workout drinks. He's putting estrogen in the pre-workout drinks. And this is the statement that they've made. We have decided to part ways with our vocalist, Diego, due to the admissions of disturbing and concerning behavior towards one of our band members. He has admitted to being obsessed with his partner and has been attempting to sabotage the relationship by cutting pre-workout he frequently gifts from his job with high amounts of estrogen. He's been attempting to force a transition onto him.
Imagine.
Now listen, is this diabolical or the most romantic thing anyone's ever done for me?
That is pretty romantic.
Are there any women reading this being like, I wish my man would put pre-workout in the guy that I was seeing?
Who I don't really like. Yeah, this is like a real, I wouldn't say Romeo and Juliet kind of.
Casanova.
Yeah, this is some sort of, this is like a Taylor Swift song.
yeah.
Right here where you put some,
just a drip in your drink and just a drip in your drink and it shrinks on your dink and now you'll be with Dave.
Hey man, if that works, that's a bad precedent to set.
Yeah.
You got to do that for
But you have to think the funny part is it's not that type of music. It's, yeah. You were looking like a girl.
Yeah. I wonder how he found out.
Dude looks like a lady.
Dude. How'd they find out?
He got drunk and admitted to it. He was like blackout drunk and he started spilling the beans. Sounds like he's the chick, man. Can't keep his secrets when he's drunk. That's the ultimate girl move, to be
getting
so
high
drunk.
on his own supply a little bit, sounds
He
like.
was getting high on his own supply and then he got blackout drunk and started, well, that's what you fucking know.
You won't believe what happened.
Know what happened? And he was like, probably, you know, okay, well, could you just shut up? And he goes, well, you enjoy your estrogen more. He goes, what? He goes, yeah, fucking, how about that? I put your estrogen in your
Wondering
drink.
why you're so moody lately.
Yeah. And then he woke up, oh, no, you know.
Yeah.
My loose lips.
Oh, yeah, imagine is that illegal what he did? Like, is that?
Yeah, I think there's some criminal stuff happening.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it must be.
Sure. Yeah, you can't just do
You
that.
can't put stuff in people's drinks. I can see that being like some chick like serial killer kind of goes to the bars and just estrogens up guys' drinks and stuff.
Keeping your tea low, you're a bitch. Do-do-do. I'm gonna steal your girl.
Yeah, that's
Swoop in. He looked stronger and more. So he looked stronger and more manly in comparison. And then they go, brackets, stupid caveman mindset that makes zero sense.
I want to know how manly he looked to begin with, like the other guy.
The hardcore guy? Some of those hardcore guys are jacked.
Yeah, some of them get I guess he worked out.
I looked up the band. I couldn't find them. I don't think they're a big band. This tampering has caused confusion and thousands of dollars in medical bills in the past month trying to figure out what's wrong. We would not know any of this unless Diego had gotten way too intoxicated and ousted himself, and then stated an admission to all this via text. There's been many more disgusting details that have been left out for the sake of privacy and general censorship.
They're called Lorona.
I know. I couldn't find them though because there's 4,000 bands called Lorona.
Oh, that's a common name here. Well, they just lost. They got. Are they going to do an open audition for a new vocalist? Do you think?
I think that this is the most press they've ever got. So if they can keep moving, this is gonna be okay.
This is a bad precedent for probably their scene. They go, holy shit.
Oh, that guy's getting kicked out of the scene too. The scene does not like stuff like this.
The scene does not like that. No. But that band is probably first show after the scandal goes oddly sold out.
Very interesting though. That's a huge move though. I bet you there is some girls reading that saying it's so romantic though.
Yeah, they're mentally.
There are people that are microdosing hormones because they're talking about like people that are like non-binary.
Yeah,
and there's actually an article that they said what it's like to be non-binary and have a feminine body, and basically the girl's mad because everyone won't accept that she's non-binary because she has massive
jugs. She has massive cans.
Then there's
not even binding them or anything. They're just out there flopping around.
Well, she just dresses like a girl and she's got massive tits and she's like pissed off that people won't, accept that she's not a boy or a girl.
Well, when they have to eyeball her and guess the pronouns on first guess, they keep going with she.
You're a girl, and she's like, well, you're wrong because I'm none of them. I'm, not a boy nor a girl.
They keep calling her ma'am.
But then there's a lot of people, and there's all these articles that they're saying like you basically microdose hormones, so you just give yourself a little something.
Yeah.
Like, girls just get a little bit of tea. I get the girls that are like lesbos that you're just like, I want to fucking juice a little bit of tea.
I want like that, like just that little mustache to come in. You know, just like the little.
I don't think if you were like, yeah, exactly.
I see that like anecdotally in the city.
I think if you're like going hard lesbian and you're just like, I'm going to dose a little tea.
Yeah.
I could see the utility of that. You know what I mean? You get, a little bit of man.
Stronger, a little more energy.
You become the dominant,
Less tears.
Bumping everyone. But if you're a dude and you're just sort of like trying to go androgynous and you're dosing yourself with estrogen, it's just going to make you depressed and shit like that.
Possibly, yeah.
Like, it might give the girls a little roid rage, though, but they already have a lot of domestic violence anyway.
It's the domestic violence capital.
That is funny, though. If you're in they're number one, so if you're in a lesbo relationship and you're just constantly coming home and your girl's got like microdosing tea roid rage, you're just coming home like smashing walls and shit like that.
You gotta both microdose.
Comes home in her catcher's outfit, just fucking punching walls.
Construction outfit. It just doesn't work. It works at a coffee shop. Full construction outfit.
Yeah. This girl's not happy that people keep saying she's a girl. She goes, the funny thing is, it tends to happen when people look at me. You see their eyes always trend downwards, scoping out what you might call a traditionally feminine body I live in.
Massive cans.
She's living in this body. That must be torture, though. You're living in this body with massive cans, and you want people to see you as like sort of an androgynous blob.
Yeah, I know. She hates all the free drinks she's getting all the time, and just all the.
She's drinking them, crying.
People are being nice to her and stuff, and just she hates it. She goes, well, just treat me like a person.
I want to be treated like an androgynous blob that doesn't have big tits.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you probably gotta, you get the reduction, or you're gonna have to put a sweater on because the truth of the matter is,
they have binders for that specific thing.
If you're gonna be jiggling around with these big tits and you're expecting guys not to see the tits, I mean, you're gonna keep dreaming,
and you're gonna be
sister.
mad about the misgendering, like where it's gonna they go, hey, sorry, and then realize you were they them.
Yeah, basically, this story is massive honkers. People keep seeing them and thinking I'm a girl. When this elevator eye assessment is complete, I like to think that I feel like guys don't do that much. I feel like guys give it an honest try to not be good looking at the boobs if they're out there.
For sure, yeah. Unless you're like I like the old creeps who have kind of just given up
and they just go for it.
They don't care about it.
Do you see a lot of that where guys look at it, they just go straight for the tits with the eyes?
Yeah, on the subway.
Maybe if you have sunglasses on.
Well, sunglasses are good for that, but guys on the subway will some dudes are shameless.
Yeah,
girls are walking by where they'll.
You ever been accused of peeking?
No,
never.
I don't think so.
I definitely have.
Accused of it? Where someone goes, "Oh, you had a good look."
Yeah, basically.
I don't think
some version of that. I've definitely been accused of peeking.
Was it with like a stranger?
I'm telling you, I mean, I don't know if I can think of some specific time, but I can probably think of
I don't think so.
multiple times, like in general.
Well, I've been peeking.
Trying to think of specific. Okay, I can think of one.
Maybe I'm so good at peeking.
I remember a girl that said that eyes up here to me.
Were you intoxicated?
Johnny said you've had that happen to you. Danny's trying to say it's never happened.
I've never had a girl being like eyes up here.
Oh, really?
Well, I respect women for their brains, and so I like to just focus on the brain area.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's just I like a big, beautiful.
You're having
brain.
sex with a girl, and she has to be like eyes down here because you're looking at the ceiling where you've drawn a bunch of dicks.
She's like eyes down here. I'm like, I'm trying to get through. Trying to get through this.
Can you open your eyes? I've definitely had a few eyes up here. I feel like you try too, and most of the time where you're just like, lady, you got your fucking guns out.
They're
like,
out.
They're out. Like, yes, I'm sorry that I took a peek when they're out.
And there's like a biological like hardwiring here thing that you're taking advantage of. Like your natural
it's so
instinct
impossible
is
to
to
just
look.
It's so impossible to just be like looking so straight, and you can see in your peripheries they're just fucking bulging
if they
out.
get in the peripheries, that's crazy.
How are they not in the peripheries? I don't have a visor on my nose.
If they're really getting in there, you're like, yeah. But
I mean,
maybe one day.
it's impossible to not. You're seeing them. I mean, you look at your line of vision. Like I could see.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you just gotta.
Well, I mean, yeah, to put a sweater on, then I'm not peeking. But if you're wearing essentially like a bra in public, it's like it's very difficult, at least in like a 5-minute conversation, that I'm not gonna.
I mean, the real crazy
pretend to look around and get caught.
The real crazy thing is the chicks who are like, wearing something really revealing, and they go, "What are you looking at?" And you go, "That's kind of the point of what you're wearing, isn't it?"
I guess I'm looking at this slutty outfit that you put on, so everyone.
Yeah, I'm looking at your top. Not what's behind the top. I just like clothes.
Yeah, you have to pretend. You go, was that, where'd you get that?
Is that
No,
linen?
I was looking at something similar for myself.
Is that a cotton poly blend?
Well, this girl's not happy about it. And she says, when the eye assessment's done, I like to think that they switch flips over to the cis brain to the she-her setting. I love how they have to do the full evaluation. Got it. It's a girl. Like you can't just immediately see it all.
What's she even saying?
Well, she's saying she's saying she walks into the room, or sorry, it walks into the room,
right.
and then people do the full assessment. They go, hello,
The Terminator.
girl, locked and loaded, she, her. That's what she's saying they do, but I think it's like a microsecond before you probably make that analogy.
Yeah, those big. That's the thing. Those titties are so big that they couldn't even be fake on a, like they're huge.
I'd have to see them. Did you see them?
Yeah, she had a photo of them.
Okay,
She had a photo of okay. All right, no, baby. I'm not very interested.
Big guns, yeah.
They're like massive.
Yeah, I'd have to see the outfits what they're like, but they're a big gun. Well, it's basically just dressed like a girl.
And yeah, she dresses like a girl, and she doesn't even have like one of those weird non-binary haircuts.
She's wearing women's clothing. She has long hair and big
She's
tits.
just wearing pants. She goes, I'm non-binary. I'm wearing
They're
pants.
women's pants, though.
Yeah, I know, but
Or
I think
like
in her mind, she goes, that's...
David Bowie would wear, maybe.
Yeah, they're just pants. They're women's pants, but I guess in her mind, she goes, well, I'm not wearing a skirt. Why would you think I'm a woman?
Well, when this flip is switched, it takes a gargantuan amount of effort to reset it to neutral. This is the switch when people are like, you're a girl. And
Yeah, once they've decided you're a girl, then you're like, I'm neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's everybody, though.
It's definitely probably hard to make that switch flip back again.
Oh, man, I don't know what... there's that girl who died in... or that trans person who died, got like beat up or whatever, and then killed herself or something. Somewhere or whatever, and that's like a big story.
She got in a big fight. And
She got in a fight. She was like getting bullied, and then she like splashed water on one of the kids, and they like beat her up, and then I think she killed herself the next day though.
Yeah,
she didn't die from the beating or whatever. But anyways, I saw someone writing.
Oh wait, that's what happened?
Yeah. They didn't beat her to death.
I thought they did.
Well, that's what the fucking lying news media would like you to think. Ryan.
It did give me the impression that happened, and then I saw people kind of saying like, "Well, what happened was she started the fight," but I didn't realize it was a suicide. I thought it was a beating.
I believe it was she died the next day. There was like they interviewed her in the hospital, and she was like literally fine. Like,
how did she die then?
I think that's like she just killed herself.
Oh,
yeah. I
mean that's bad, but you can't really.
Yeah. It wasn't like three girls who.
If you're gonna fight
beat her to death.
Oh, that's
in a bathroom.
That's kind of what I thought.
That's what they were trying to make it out. But anyways, I saw some.
Yeah, it's like when people who write those stories, it's like you're lying.
Of course. And then I think they are so quick to write the stories, and then the next day, the actual like body cam footage of the cop who interviewed her in the hospital came out, and he's just talking to her, and she's fine.
Okay,
She
what was
like
the
scraped
point?
up or whatever.
What was
But
the point you're
anyways,
making?
someone was writing an article about this whole scenario. So there's this non-binary person, there's these 3 other people, and they're like referring to the non-binary person as them, but then they're also referring to the 3 people as them.
So it's just
and I'm just like,
impossible
this
to
is like
read.
fucking so confusing. Like, because they always say, "Oh, it's nothing confusing about it. What's the problem?" And you're like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
You can't just throw these thems around, referring to a group of 3 people, this person, and then just interchangeable. You're like, it's possible to fall. But anyways, those.
Yeah, tits and dicks, that's pretty good. You go, the one with the dick did this and the one with the tits did that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they go, I don't want you to refer to the tits. You go, I think that's the one that's working for me right now.
Yeah, the one with the twig and berries.
We often think of a certain not quite male, not quite female when we think of non-binary, but she's sort of saying that many non-binary people don't meet that shallow criteria of just being in between. So she's saying that there's a lot of non-binary people that you look exactly like a girl every single fucking way.
Yeah, and they're all in
what is it
and they're
then?
all in the comedy scene for some reason.
But what is it then? If it's not the in between, what is it then?
It's just how you feel up here. It's
I guess that's
all
what
how
she's
you-
trying to say.
It's all how you feel, Ryan.
Even if I'm out in a low-cut dress and heels, I expect a baseline level of respect where people don't think that I'm a guy or a girl. And if you're not, if you're not sure how to refer,
Low cut dress and heels, and you go, I do. If you think I'm a woman, you mistake me for a woman, I am not going to be happy about that.
listen. The bottom line is, if you can be motorboated, it's going to be you're going to have a tough go.
We're just as a society not telling people to shut up enough. We gotta just.
You tell them, Danny.
Gotta be like, shut up,
Shut up.
shut up.
Yeah, I think it's starting.
I should start following this chick around. That'll be my. I'm just gonna live stream me following around from a safe distance, just being like, "Shut up."
Shut up.
This is ridiculous.
That was an Australia one that was pretty funny. So, basically, they do this like gay pride parade thing, gay Mardi Gras situation.
Yeah,
What is it called?
sounds like
The Mardi Gras parade, annual LGBTQ or whatever. They have this
It's
big.
just their pride parade.
So they
Is
have.
it different from the pride parade?
I think it's the part of their pride parade. I think
They don't have a second pride parade.
Well, they essentially do this like gay and lesbian Mardi Gras march.
Okay.
I don't know. I think they might have a bunch of different marches.
They're multiplying.
So they have this gay and lesbian march, and then basically there was these 2 gay dudes that were dating, and then the one gay dude, they like broke up, and the gay dude started dating some other gay dude, and then the gay dude murdered them.
Yeah.
And the gay dude that like murdered his like gay lover happened to be a cop.
Sure.
So they started saying it was like violence by police against gays.
Yeah.
And then they basically said the cops aren't allowed to come to the gay march
Similar to
anymore.
like the George Floyd stuff, where they're like, because of the George Floyd, and they go, like, even in Canada, remember, their George Floyd happened, they go, we don't want cops at the gay pride.
Yes, but this would be like if like a guy got in a bar fight with a black guy.
Right,
and then you were like, and he happened to be a cop, you know what I mean? And they were
Yeah.
married and they were gay lovers is actually the exact scenario. Well, it's basically like, the story is a guy murdered his husband and he happened to be a cop,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
But they're saying like, they're kind of,
He didn't marry, he
the
didn't
sort of
murder him
spin
because
on-
he was a cop.
Right. The cop's the one who did the murdering.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
spin on the internet is essentially like, there's like cop violence against gays, right?
Sure.
And it was like, well, no, gay guy murdered another gay guy. He just happened to be a cop. So then they go,
I
no.
don't think they're going to see that nuance. They go,
I mean, how is nuance? It's just kind of a far-fetched way to pitch it the other way.
of course. I'm just
Like,
saying.
I mean, imagine like if you get
Yeah, I guess
in
nuance
if you
is
get in
not
a
the
bar
right word.
fight against like a firefighter, and we said there's firefighter violence against podcasters, like that's not what happened.
Yes, but if we're trying to gain sympathy,
And
for
more so if you were
podcasters-
if you and a gay
falsely.
firefighter are having sex.
Sounds hot.
So you're banging this dude.
Sounds good.
And then, you try to flip it around, and he knows that you're always supposed to be the bottom and he's the top. So you get in a fight with a gay firefighter and your gay lover with a gay firefighter.
Yeah.
Gay firefighter kills you. It's now like no firefighters allowed in podcasting because firefighters are violent against podcasts.
Sure.
It's just like not.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
It's just so funny though, because they like took that story and like ran with it. Like gay, like cops are like going after gay guys to kill them.
Oh yeah, that's not. Yeah, they're like, there's just cops on the loose killing all gay guys. Be safe. But I mean, I might not be the first person to say that gay guys might be a little dramatic. That's not news.
Well, sometimes they're so dramatic they kill their fucking ex.
Hey, I mean, there's nobody likes domestic violence, but it's just the nature of of life, I guess.
And by the way, cops have a little bit of a loose trigger, so maybe there's some part of that, but it's not the only job. Like teachers also have that same fucking authority complex where they don't like things going their own, not going their way.
It goes back to every single thing. Like, you know, when trans people say, you know, trans people get murdered or whatever, and then you're like, well, so you think like trans people should be the only group of people who don't get murdered? Like every group of people gets murdered, and just when you have a certain mass of people, you're kind of going to start having a thing from every group.
People are going to get murdered.
Yeah, cops are going to get murdered. Cops are going to do murdering. They're going to do them at work.
Well, another way you could spin this is like gay guys need to fucking take it easy. They're out of control.
Yeah.
Like, look at gay guys are murdering.
Yeah.
Like another thing is you could say like gay guys are murdering. Like you could take it that way.
Yeah, you could do the equally uncharitable opposite side. And
it's
say,
like,
yeah, you see these gays.
There's an epidemic of gays murdering people
in Australia. So you better watch out.
Who do they murder? They go, I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Just two bros.
Someone did not deserve
There's
it.
a gay guy murdering two bros. If you're gonna say it's a cop murdering gay guys, you could also say it's a gay guy murdering two bros.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta watch out.
So Vice magazine is officially shutting. I feel like every 6 months there's like a new thing about how they're shutting down.
They are.
I think they just keep selling off the scraps for parts, and they keep sort of re-emerging because, like, I guess the names were something, so they keep like selling and re-emerging. But they basically said they have massive layoffs.
Yeah, I just went to their website,
and they're shutting down the news site.
Well, you know what? So I went to their website, and they have stuff up that's from like a week ago.
Yeah, well, every time they say they're getting shut down, and they kind of seem to,
I think,
keep them sticking around.
So if you go to Vice.com right now, their like banner main image is from February 22nd, which is a week ago. So I think they finally did it.
You think that in the
Ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch is dead. The witch is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
My tenure at Vice will no longer. So you think that?
No, this is legit. Like they're not creating content, not like they were before, but they're not like, you know, their website has not been updated in a week. Vice.com.
Can we hire a few of the Vice employees as studio janitors? Coffee, studio baristas.
That would be, just to come in. That would be.
No, we hire ex-Vice employees to write Vice articles for us to make fun of.
Yeah, you go, fuck.
We
know what? This kind of actually fucked us over.
We want to hire you for the boys, guys. We just keep doing exactly what you're doing.
You don't have to come into work. Then we end up being like editors. You go, yeah, your stuff about racism and whatever. I didn't really sense that you felt that.
We have a bunch of Vice writers that are just in the other room. Then we hire them to do exactly what they're doing. They're just over there typing on the typewriters, and then they come run it over to us, and we make fun of it.
It's like did we like literally set up like a Model T production line? Like remember that I Love Lucy with the bonbons or whatever?
They're writing articles about us.
They're coming out so fast and we can't make fun of them. Like they're starting to like pile up and shit. Slow down, guys.
Okay, we got podcasting is racist, just hot off the presses.
Wonder what they're all gonna do. Just get regular jobs, I guess. No way they're like maybe 1% of them will get a job in journalism.
Yeah,
the way journalism's going, like you don't go from Vice to New York Times.
Vice, I mean, journalism
not like the New York Times is
flourishing.
hiring.
Yeah, like editorial journalism is not like it's not a supply and demand is not in the demand category is dwindling and the supply category is pretty high.
And there's no money in it, like for the actual publishers. So
no, I think a lot of these places are having trouble figuring out how to make money.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they're not making money.
You know what? They were probably kind of hoping, like a lot of these people were probably like, we just got to make it through to if Trump wins again, and then we're back in fucking business.
That would be so funny. I mean, yeah.
There's going to be some journalists just.
Well, someone's going to buy Vice. Vice, like their goodwill for Vice, tangent, you know, whatever.
Well, I mean, it's not worth zero. Yeah, exactly. It's not worth $0.
Someone will take a crack at it.
I think that's what kind of keeps happening. Someone keeps taking a crack at it.
They bought someone bought it for like, was it 500 million Fox or Rupert Murdoch, and then he sold it for like $10 million or something.
Ooh,
yeah,
it's gotta hurt.
Yeah. He's still Rupert Murdoch.
Hey, Tom made his money and got the fuck out, man.
Oh, yeah.
Tom's the real winner in social media. Although he didn't make as much money as some of the, the people they make now.
No, that was but he didn't get.
But I have a Vice article, and to be honest, it wasn't even that crazy of an article. But I thought we would do an homage by going through one of their articles. But it was actually kind of a funny thing.
Read it. I'll do it. In the arms of an angel.
Landlords are enforcing no sex tenancy clauses now. After moving into a shared house with 3 other girls, Lucy started to notice signs of communal areas banning music after 11 p.m., house parties, and crucially, loud sex. We're all girls, and he starts lecturing us about the youths of today being hypersexual. So apparently landlords can write into their clauses
no loud
that
sex.
There's no sex. So the thing, this
no
is
loud sex.
Well, this is where obviously you
and
can
then
see
we
this.
go, okay, well, what's loud sex?
This is where it gets interesting. But I guess the actual situation is, like, for example, if you rented out a room in your house and you were like a family, what you can say is no guests after 12 p.m.
Yeah.
And people either take that deal or they don't, right?
Yeah.
So apparently a lot of these people that don't have that situation, like I can understand if you're like, hey, I'm moving someone in with me and it's a family, it's like, hey, this is the deal, take it or leave it, but it's cheap because of it. And if it wasn't cheap, you just wouldn't take the deal.
Right.
Or if you're like a student living with a family or whatever. But if it's like a single apartment, I guess you could say no being loud. Like, well, I don't know why.
Well, there's no being. Oh, well, there's a law that says there's a
But it does sound like this landlord's pushing it.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure he doesn't want loud sex specifically. But there's a way around this.
And apparently the landlord came in and he was lecturing them about youth being hypersexual and telling us they need to save themselves for marriage.
Okay, what happens if you're the landlord, okay? And then a couple comes to want to rent your place and you're against loud sex, but they're both deaf.
Say that again? The people are deaf.
The couple, they want to rent the place and you go, no loud sex, but they're deaf. So you know it's going to be super loud, actually.
You know it's going to be...
like really loud, but it's going to be... And they don't even hear it, so...
You don't know what you're going to be able
But then
to
you're
do.
like, if I enforce it, then they're going to take me to like I'm going to be
disability
like, hey,
court.
you're fucked up. That could kind of put, you just need that couple and then you go, this clause is gone.
Yeah, he's going to be fucked.
End of the clause.
Well, it's not just this guy. Apparently he's doing it, but this guy is extra funny because he said, I thought, how are we even going to police that? But the landlord does inspections himself and he mentions it when he visits. So he sort of comes in.
He takes a break from his breast inspecting side gig.
Yeah, basically looking for cum stains. He's got he's got a nickel and he's just like scraping off the thing. He goes, "What the fuck is this?"
CSI Blacklight.
Yeah, he's sniffing the sheets. Like, what's this?
What is? Yeah,
finds a condom wrapper. He has a fucking conniption, right? Disturbingly, some tenants have had a no-sex clause actually written into their agreements. Sometimes it's expressed overtly, other times it's disguised as a ban on overnight guests. But this is something so this guy has said he's feared it in the past, and he's had 2 different landlords try to ban or restrict sex on the property he privately rented. One landlord made a comment about the queues of men always outside the house. It's safe to say I did not make people queue to fuck me. And the comment felt homophobic. So now, let me go on. This guy, listen. At first, you're like, we got this creep landlord that's coming in, smelling our floors, looking for condoms, making sure there's, no evidence of sexual intercourse. Now you're saying 4 landlords in a row have been like, this is out of control.
Where they're selling the place. They're like, we don't even want to be this guy's landlord anymore. They're selling the place.
This guy's bringing 19 guys in, spraying the walls, having like orgies where you put the mask on. Queues of men. Maybe it wasn't queues of men, but it's you're saying you have back to back landlords that are like, this sex is out of control. I mean, I've lived in a bunch of places. Unfortunately, I've never had a landlord complain. Although I did get kicked out of an Airbnb once.
There you go. What for?
Having guests over after hours, if you know what I'm saying.
After hours. Yeah.
Did get kicked out of an Airbnb once for that.
Okay. There you go.
The guy came in and he goes, listen, you saw the lease on the Airbnb. Any midnight guest that comes in here, Dave gets his taste first. That is what, and if you don't want Dave to get the taste, you should have thought of that before you took the agreement.
I actually was when I was in Istanbul, actually, I picked up this girl and I was staying at some hotel. They have weird rules there, or whatever hotel I was at. And then I was trying to bring a girl back, and they were like at like
Listen, the bed can barely hold you, pal.
At 1 in the morning, and I was trying to bring a girl back, and then they were like, as I walked past the front desk, they were literally like, "You have to pay us €100."
What?
And I was like, "What?
Boning tax?"
Like literally a bone tax. At 1 a.m. they go.
That might just be the guy that worked there saw a sucker in this.
No, it was like I was like, because I put up a huge stink, and they were like,
what did they say it was for bringing a second person?
They go, no, you're only allowed one person in the room. That's what you paid for. And I go, it's temporary, pal. She's not staying with me. And they were like, no. And then we ended up going to her house.
What a cock block.
Yeah,
you didn't pay up.
I was like, fuck that. It was ridiculous. She's like, I live 5 minutes from here. And I go, okay, we'll just go to your house.
That is funny, though, bringing a girl home. Fast forward to you yelling and screaming at the Airbnb guy, being like,
wasn't, there's a hotel.
It's going to be 5 minutes tops, and she'll be gone. What don't you understand?
She's just some dumb whore I found at a bar. Look, I'll just use her up and just give her the booze.
I give you a 1,000% guarantee she will not be staying. What time? Look, what time is it now? 2 a.m. She's going to be gone by 2:20.
Promise, tops. I got to get some shut-eye.
You are not going to hear a peep. I assure you that.
She's not even going to like it.
Yeah. She's just sort of standing there beside.
No, €100.
Yeah, interesting. So it's interesting that you didn't pay up, though.
Shake down. Well, she was just like, let's go to my house.
Yeah, a better option came up.
Yeah.
That is,
I mean, I would have, like, if that was it, and she goes, well, I don't live near here or whatever. I go, all right.
What would you do if you did pay the $100? Then you see, as you see the girl leaving, you see the guy slip her 50, and that's, you just paid for a prostitute, and that's a scam they got running.
That'd be an interesting scam. That would be an interesting scam. I've been like, yeah, well, game's the game.
Yeah.
Always just chalk it up to game's the game.
So the landlords, when you say that multiple landlords are doing this, because I don't think I've ever heard that, but I guess there is certain places where your rooms like too close to other people's rooms, and you're just like, can you fucking keep it down?
My
pal?
first place in Toronto in Parkdale, it was like the second level of this house, and this girl lived underneath. And
have you ever had people that tell you to keep it down while you're jacking off?
No, but she was even worse. She was even worse. It was like I would come home at 2 in the morning, and I would just be walking upstairs, and she was underneath, and she's like literally like, hey, can you stop like getting texts, like you're really loud. I'm like, I'm just like walking, like I'm not like stomping around.
Interesting.
I'm just
your landlord would do that?
Well, she owned this huge house in Parkdale, and then we just rented like the top floor or whatever, me and my brother, but she was underneath, I guess, and she was ridiculous. I'm like, what, I can't walk?
Yeah.
I'm like, you own this like 120-year-old house. I don't know, it's creepy.
Did she ever comment on the boning? No, that was dead silent.
She goes, I hear a lot of crying. What's that about? I go,
can you keep the crying down?
Keep the crying
down. The interrogation didn't stop there, though. They then tried to call me and say that there was silicone lube marks on the floor. Well, this guy's saying he's never spilled the silicone lube. He's sort of saying he doesn't. The landlord's fake news.
Yeah, I don't use.
I'd like to hear the landlord side of this story.
Well, the question is, if I was like a bit of a Perry Mason type of go, well, do you use silicone lube? Mm-hmm. Right? Because if you say you use it and you go, well, I didn't spill it, you go, okay, well, but you use it. He's not making that up.
But if he doesn't do this, a landlord poking around and being like scratching the floor and being like, this is lube. I know this is fucking lube. He's got his magnifying glass. That is crazy.
That's insane, yeah.
But anyways, they're saying that there should be a right to shag bill.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I don't know if it's like
being loud is the issue. You're never going to be able to fight that one.
No, but
listen, it's an issue I've fought my whole life, being told to keep it down.
Of course, but again, there's I don't know if it's like this in England, but if you can't put something illegal into a lease, it's not enforceable.
But being quiet apparently is.
Well, after 11, that's just like, that's the bylaw of wherever you live, right? Like you can't like.
But apparently you can have leases that say no guests.
Yeah, no guests is potential. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know, but can you? You can't say you like what? My mom can't come over.
I mean, again, you're right. Probably enforcing it would be very hard.
No, my mom's not allowed over at my house.
Yeah, and they would say no, specifically your mom.
I don't think that's legal.
Specifically your mom, because it's awkward for me to have to see her after we ran a train on her that night.
Because yeah, I don't love those PCAM sessions when your mom's over.
So there's this woman, and she wrote this article essentially being like, if your husband's a piece of shit, how to have an affair without actually having an affair, but you don't want to have an affair, but you do. But
you mentally want to be like,
you mentally want to stick it to him.
I'm having an affair.
9 ways to have an affair without having an affair.
Yeah.
And it is
These are
really the
really
writings of a
sad.
crazy woman. It's a sad woman, but also just like an actual psycho.
Yeah, it's just like, it's sad.
Here are the 9 ways. So the first one is date yourself. What would you do if you took yourself on a date for pure fun of it? So there's lots of girls that have been writing take a date on yourself ones, but under the context is extra crazy under the context of like, and see how you like this.
Yeah. Where he's like, what are you up to? And she's like, I'm on a date.
I'm on a date.
He goes, with who? Myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone who actually respects me.
So, I guess if you're trying to make him jealous, like you're not really having the date. It's more you stomping out, being like, I'll have a dinner reservation for one.
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of making a whole show.
You can kind of make him concerned for your mental well-being. Like if you go, I'm on a date. And you go, what? And you go, with who? And she goes, myself. And you go, oh, God.
Yeah.
Something really...
Technically not cheating. And you go, that's
okay.
true.
Yeah,
it is.
there's
Yeah.
something...
And then the second one is dress up for yourself. Pick at least one outfit 5 days a week that'll make you feel sexy. So I guess this is her being like, I don't see how you're cheating by putting the outfit on, but I guess if you're really putting them out there, you're like walking around the streets with your tits out being like, not cheating technically. I mean, kind of like that. I'm not touching you, I guess.
I suppose. It's still not cheating.
Let yourself flirt with men. So letting yourself flirt with men, I guess, is what it is.
Yeah. Still not cheating.
Probably.
I imagine the guy's not going to love that, but
men are going to take notice when you start to dress up. Let those feelings be seen in admiration and soak it in. If you're approached, you can assure the men that you're taken because you're dating yourself.
That's psychotic.
Move your body. Find a time when no one's home and put the headphones on and just dance. And you're sort of so now you're sort of dancing in your own home in a sexy outfit, being like, shh.
There's some weird point too, like line with this where if you're the guy, you go, fuck, this is insane, but it's what you need to do to get her out of my hair. Like, it's like a good deal kind of at some point.
Oh, you come home and you hear the music, or you hear her dancing up a storm. You go, okay, I'm back out. You go, I might have another couple of hours before I come home. I might be working late tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
She's on a date with herself.
Yeah, you're just like open the...
But she's want to do it. She's doing it in the context of cheating, where she's kind of like at home by herself dancing, being like, "But my husband's gonna be home any minute. Like, oh my, should we be doing this?"
Not a crazy thing to do.
But I'm a married woman. Touch your body. So give yourself a massage. Give yourself a massage. It's funny, unless you have one of the massagers that do that, but just sort of one of these to yourself. Not technically cheating, and I guess if you're in front of him, I guess a lot of it is like, to what extent are you doing?
But the thing is, you're not. If you say, "Hey, I'm not cheating," and then you're acting crazy, then I mean, he gets kind of the message being sent, but it's just.
Yeah, a lot of this is just like 9 things I do.
Yeah, but also just like be crazy and make your husband like reevaluate the relationship a bit because this might be coming to an end.
Here's 10 things that I do.
It's just attention getting. This is like attention getting.
How to get some attention. Well, writing love letters to yourself is another one.
And then leaving them around the house.
Who's that from? It's from me.
Like, I'm worried.
At some point when you're writing yourself letters on the regular, you're probably pushing it a little bit.
Yeah. Psychos. Imagine that your girl found a love letter and you go, what the fuck? And there's like lipstick on it and everything. And
no one appreciates you. You are so great.
Yeah, you're the best. And then it's from you.
And you go, okay, I'd rather you be banging a dude than whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah, seriously. You go, this is the gayest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Okay. Before we go here, I have something. So this is a potential gang that Danny could join.
Ooh, I've been looking for a gang.
Yes. So this is a gang, ladies and gentlemen, and they make YouTube videos, so something you like to do.
Okay.
And what they do is they go around to different restaurants, try the food, and they make videos on whether the chairs can fit them.
Have you ever been seated at a restaurant and found that you couldn't
women.
fit comfortably in the seat or booth? Hey everyone, we're plus size park hoppers and we range in sizes from 2X to 5X. Like this video and follow us for more plus size Disney content. We're starting a new dining series called If I Fits, I Sits. In this series, we'll go to different restaurants on Disney property and beyond, showing you the types of seating they offer, whether or not we find it comfortable, and we'll also review the food. We know
you will.
walk into a restaurant and only see chairs with arms on them. and being anxious about whether or not you'll fit. Our goal is to help you feel more at ease and to show you that there are accommodations out there. With one of us being gluten-free, we'll also highlight the gluten.
Dude, you know what this reminds me of? Because you know what? Like, it's so crazy where you can't fit in seats in restaurants in America.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, this isn't like, oh, we're going around Europe and this is real narrow certain things. This is America. This is like those types of fish where the bigger the tank you get them, the bigger the fish becomes. You know what I mean? Like, if you get it a giant pool, it'll become like a giant, huge. And this is essentially what they're doing. Is they go, yeah, everybody's getting bigger. They're just getting bigger. And
I mean, if it's not a wake up call that you're going to a restaurant and you need to do research on if you're going to be able to fit in chairs.
Florida, you're in Florida at Disneyland at a restaurant, and you can't fit in Florida.
It is a crazy thing to be just watching tutorials on which chairs can fit.
Like, if you go, I can't fit at any chair in Disneyland, that means you can't fit at any chair in the world. Like, there's no restaurant in the world you can go to.
Well, also, it's sort of an excuse to go eat at 9 places in a day, and you're just like, did you just have 9 meals? You go, we're reviewing the chair.
Yeah.
This is a chair review. Yeah. You go, yeah, but you ate dinner at all. Yes, we throw in a food review.
Yeah, we like an app or an entree.
We throw in an app or an entree, but this is a chair-focused YouTube channel.
Have they ever broken any?
That would be probably good for their channel.
I hope they have a nice slow-mo of them just like,
no, I mean, you just see this. You see the girl sit down. But she comes in, they come in like sort of a reviewer team, right?
Yeah.
So she comes in the napkin, sit down, breaks the chair. And everyone's like, are you okay? And then she just pulls out her pen.
Yeah, I'm fine. Hey, you guys aren't.
Oh, that's gonna cost you.
It's gonna cost you some.
Anyways, I'll order the turkey.
I mean, that's the thing. Probably realistically,
I'll sit on the floor.
The super fat people are the highest ticket spenders.
I know you do want them.
Now, you probably don't want to go. Fuck! If we lose all the super fat people, just can't come.
Well, I guess if you have low chairs, it's because you want hot people there.
The most depressing thing is, in Vegas by where Skanks was.
What do they have couches at the buffet?
Fremont? No, they have that restaurant on Fremont, the Heart Attack. What's it called?
Heart Attack Grill.
The Heart Attack Grill, and they have a postal scale outside of it. And if you weigh more than 350 pounds, you eat for free.
What the fuck? Why?
We walked by it a million times.
Why are they giving free food to 350?
I guess because it's fairly rare, even still, to be over 300.
But why do they want that?
I just think they're branding and they think it's funny. But then you see like people weighing themselves outside, and like the worst thing is when someone goes and they go.
This is a funny thing to bring your girl to and say you're bringing to a place where she can get her meal for free, and then just like blindfold her and then take her there. You have to stand here and then get her up, and then she takes the blindfold off and she's looking at her weighing.
Yeah,
and then she goes, "Okay, this is embarrassing. I thought we were gonna get a free meal here."
Do you think there's ever been a guy who was like 340 and he's like, "Fuck, I'm like so close." He put some ball bearings in his pockets or something.
Well, is there anyone that's just like weighs 350 that just goes eats there for free all the time, or do you get like one free meal per fat?
Yeah, I wonder. You can't just eat there for life, although life's short. So. In those scenarios,
that's crazy.
Yeah, but I saw this one like TikTok of a guy who was just like and he was so proud of himself, and you're like, like he like walks over there, and he's like 440, and just gets on it. He goes, he's like, yeah, like kind of.
That's mental.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for subscribing to the Patreon and everyone who subscribed and watched our competition. It was a battle for the ages. And we talked about it on the Patreon too. Yep. We went more in depth on the pains and the toils of being professional competitive eaters such as ourselves.
Part of me thought that I would never eat a hot dog again, but then I had a hot dog yesterday.
Liked it?
Man, 7-Eleven has good hot dogs.
The man is back.
Underrated dog.
Agree, they got taquitos, 7-Eleven.
I don't like the taquitos, but the dogs
I get them at the airport sometimes when I hate myself.
Yeah, underrated dog.
Peace.
Later.